Oops.
Is that going well?
Can you see it?
Yep, I can see that.
Okay.
That's me. You like this fish, huh?
Yes. Welcome back to Discus Talk, guys. Colin's already with us. He was quick on the money. So everybody welcome Sui Yang from Geelong Discus in Australia. He's going to tell us what he does and tell us about his setup. Welcome to the show, Sui Yang.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, should I start with presentation or my slides or something like that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so we do not need to wait a couple of minutes for other remaining to turn up or things like that?
No, we're good.
Okay, good.
People are starting to come in, so.
Yep.
Well, those would look good in my tank too. Definitely. Colin said that those would look great in his tank.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Ben Bryan says hello.
Hello. So let me share my screen. I'll just play it. Yep. Can you guys can see that, right?
Yes.
So yeah, good evening US time, good morning Australia time over here. I believe some of the Southeast Asia, they are still in the early morning, maybe 7 or 8 o'clock. Yeah, because I'm actually coming from Malaysia myself, and yeah, I'm a Malaysian, and yeah, today it's my honor and privilege to be able to join Tammy and Carrie. Carrie is not here today, but I heard that he will be watching for their Discus Talk channel. Yeah, so I will start. First of all, as an intro, Geelong Discus, I'm from Geelong Discus, and the owner is not me. The owner is Sharon, my wife. I'm just a water change man. Yeah, so water change guy is me. Yeah, I'm Sui Yang Ku. Yeah. So when we talk about discus, first of all, when we do import and so actually to share with you guys, I actually started as a hobbyist many years ago. And, you know, it seemed like any other newbies or any other new guys, when we started, we always face a lot of issue with discus because discus is not easy. You have to do things right. But once you do things right, once you go through all this learning curve, things will turn out simple. You just involve water change and feeding good food, and you see that your discus grow well. And but important thing is also the source. You do not want to get fish with you know, problems. When you have fish with problems, first of all you start wrong, and then you start to have disease issue. You start to continue to have problems issue in your tanks and so on. You have to have clean fish to start with, and yes. Yeah, and then you have minimum issue. The rest you involve in keeping discus is just water change and good food. Same like import. Back to the question. Same like import. For us, the most important thing is the breeder. Okay. So in fact, later I'm going to share with you. We went through a lot of farms. Of course, as most of you know, Malaysia is really a paradise for discus, and because of that, we actually try to venture. Because of my nationality, the advantage of my nationality and the understanding of the culture and all these things with Malaysia, so that is actually on my advantage. So I try to discover breeders in Malaysia and visit their farms and and then handpick my fish and import back to Australia. But I have to say that with all these things, I have to thank Jeffrey and William from New Life Aquariums. They actually helped me a lot when I started, and as well until now we collaborate, we cooperate well, and helping each other. And so back to the import. Breeder is the most important, and we must be very selective. There are some good breeders out there, but there are still some, not so good breeders. Honesty is number one. Integrity, honesty is number one. And we are looking for long-term relationship. And many times you find breeders sometimes, because in big fish farms, they are like, they have thousands of fish. You cannot ensure that every single fish are good. It's impossible. There are some good fish, there are some bad fish. But as a seller, as a breeders, they base on fish to earn their living. So they will try to sell every single fish as they could. So this end up with some bad fish coming along or something. So integrity is very important. Honesty is very important.
Absolutely.
And yes, and sometimes the main issue with import, this is the main issue with import that we face. The number one is the disease. Most of the time, if you buy from a good breeders, you do not have too much disease problem. But if you get from unluckily, if you unknown the breeder, if you are still not understanding how they operate, because this is why we want to visit farm that we import from, because from the visit, we know exactly every single details, what they do, how they feed, what they feed, how is their system, how they do water change and so on, how's their workers work, and the scale of their farm, and all these things are important aspect that you have to look into before you really starting to buy from them. So yeah, it's very important. And I even experienced sometimes when I was new, when I was at the beginning of my discus import thing, I happened to have seen fish that in the video seems to be good. When I first buy them, when I bought them in back, it's totally different fish. So it's very annoying. So because of that, I planned a trip in 2018 or something. So to visit farm, I decided after facing issues and so on, after a few, of course, everything when we start, we have hiccup, right? We not always start well, right? We have ups and downs. And after so many issues and I make up my mind and say, okay, yes, we have to travel. And since I'm a Malaysian, you see my Malaysian passport, but I have a very thin wallet. Look at the wallet there is. Yeah. So yeah, just kidding. So I bring my wallet, my passport, and my camera, and I went on to a discus farm trip and tour. So I meet many very, very nice breeders. On the left, some of you may know him. He is Martin Ng, very, very good discus breeder in Malaysia. And he himself was a discus judge for some CIPS or something in China, the discus show. He was one of the judge in discus show. And I managed to visit his farm and his breeding facilities and so on. He's a very nice guy, very, very good at genetic and color. He know cross what to get certain genetic and to achieve certain color. Very, very, and also he's very talkative. He talks a lot. Very friendly guy. And then on the right over here, his name is he is Li Qifeng. I visit him like 3 years, 3 years ago, and his farm is in Penang. Also very friendly guy, like to smile, and very honest, very, very, very good breeder. And yeah, his farm is a bit dark, and then on top there are a few transparent things that the sunlight can go through and so on. It's amazing selecting fish from his farm. Very good guy, and he breed a lot of albino, and yeah, very humble, and also very humble. He has a big farm, very big farm, but if you meet him in person, so humble. You never think that a person operating that scale will be so humble. Yeah, and then these two are some Chiu and another guy Fong, and also in Penang. And then this is his farm, and I went there, and then his wife cooked us a good meal. And also on the top is Na, is a Na discus, and we during the Malaysia tour, and we visit them. Now they have actually have agent in Australia. I think Chan from Sydney is actually importing their fish, and I think that's a Perth discus reseller. Carlos are also importing their fish. I think last year or 2 years ago, he contacted me, and then asking, what kind of, any good breeders to suggest. I actually suggested Na to him, and from them, I think now he's selling Na discus. So also a very good breeder, very nice person. Yeah, and also another big farm. Big farm. Of course, when you are in Malaysia, you meet friends as well, because not only you buying discus. On the down, at the bottom right, you see that guy that sit on the left of me. That's actually David Lai from UK. I think he's quite well known. He has been in discus for a long time, and he ran discus for the Disheartening or something like that in United Kingdom. And on the right is Wen Kiong, and he also do good discus.
Hey.
And yeah, so some, but I mainly import. These two are the main guy that I mainly import from, like Jackson. I think you know him, right, Tammy?
I don't know him personally, but I know of his fish. I have seen tons of his fish, and they're absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, and also Al Castro used to import his fish, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is Jackson Kyong. He run KL Discus, and I think he has four or 5 farms scattered around the KL region. So this is also KL. I talked to him, and KL is actually based on their name, right? Because it's Jackson Kyong, and he has another partner, Leong or something. So this is why they have KL Discus. So that is how the name comes from. It's not Kuala Lumpur. It's not KL. That KL. Yeah.
I had wondered about that.
Yeah. And also on the bottom right is YCID and Winston. You see the front guy on the left, that is in black color shirt, the guy in black color shirt.
Yeah.
He is the boss of YCID. He is a Taiwanese. And then, yeah, his Chinese name is Wang Junhong. Yeah, so I can speak multiple languages. So I can recognize Chinese and the more complicated Chinese, the traditional Chinese wording and so on. Because back in Malaysia, we are multicultural. We are multicultural people. Like
right.
Yeah. So yeah. So we speak multiple languages. So at least 3. We can speak at least 3 languages: Malay, Chinese, and English. On top of that, some people who have dialects and so on, they can speak different dialects like Cantonese or Hokkien or Hakka or things like that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So it's and also the food and so on. So when you go to Malaysia, it's like not only this, because we also look at the food. So and also over there at the front, the guy in red, he is Winston. So Winston is a very, very good discus breeder, and YCID and Winston, they are 2 super good guys.
I think Winston, I think, is imported to the U.S. by Untitled Discus.
Yep, Della import them
Yeah.
and from Winston. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. They are very. I mean, why eventually I end up with these two guys because of I like their fish. First of all, I like their style. My personality, I like their style, the way we deal, and also the fish, the quality of the fish they produce. You can see big discus from them. The quality, and if you go to their farm, you look at the quality of the fish. That is like so consistent because I've been to. There are still some other farm that I actually visited. I do not name them because of the privacy and so on. And yeah. So and for this these two farm, I think is very good. The way they grow their fish is so consistent. Every single tank, the size is consistent, and the health is good. You can easily see whether the fish is healthy or not after you're visiting so many things. And then you look into their system. I do not share their system picture because I think those, could be confidential or something, but it's best not to share, those things. And yeah, the system they run is so complicated, and that actually help in grooming big, beautiful discus. So here you see, now I, on the left, I have my first flight landing in Malaysia. If you look at my face over here, I'm not sure, can you see my face? It's a bit tired, and look at my hair. It is like spiky. I lost my hair because I do PhD. I do doctorate degree, and it is that time that I lose most of my hair on the top. Yeah, the stress and the technicality and so on is making me losing my hair. So at a younger age. so this one, why I do not have my hair cut?
Why?
Because the haircut in Australia is so expensive. But if you go to Malaysia, you can have a very, very good haircut. They'll do your shoulder massage. They will just wash your hair and have a nice haircut for like, it's considered a very good shop already and very expensive one. It's like $30 AUD, Australian dollar. So before when I knew that I'm going to travel, I'm not bothered, having my haircut. So I will leave it there. I will leave it for Malaysia trip.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Definitely don't blame.
Yeah, and then you can see on the right is like when I dropped down at when I landed in the airport. Jackson couldn't actually drive his car and pick me up from the airport and so on. It's like, you look at his smile. It is a bonding. It is a bonding. It's a bonding. It's a relationship. It's excellent. It's excellent. Awesome. So I always love my my trip back to Malaysia. Not only you shop for good fish, import them, handpick them, and also you have an opportunity to actually have bonding, have network with the breeders. And then from a lot of conversation, you actually learn a lot from the breeders. And sometimes, sometimes the breeder may not want to tell you certain things. So I tell you why it's a secret.
Yeah.
Stay longer in their farm. Their worker will come and feed their fish, right? And then sit there, watch them, what they feed, and then worker usually, they add certain vitamins or powder, and then you ask them, the breeder, I'm just kidding, right? I'm just kidding. The breeder may not want to tell you, but you can ask the worker, hey, what is that? And then she will tell you most of the time. No, Jackson is not that bad. Jackson is very good. He actually shared a lot of information with me. And then that is how you learn. And also, you look at how they actually feed their fish. And the frequency, the amount, and so on. You can learn a lot of things actually from this visit. And many times before I do my fish farm visit, I only know discus from books, from internet and so on. But sometimes you find that the real practical, because all these things, a lot of things, sometimes they are theory, right? They are like, ideally you're supposed to do that, but in reality and practical, theory and practical always have a little bit of mismatch. So you learn a more efficient way of keeping discus. And also like water change, how frequent is the water change, right? And percentage of water change, all these parameters, all these things are important aspect of keeping good discus.
Yes.
So over here, I will just show you how I feed. This is Jackson Kyung farm. I'm feeding his fish. You see, look at the size of the fish. You can compare with my head. I'm 182 in height.
Beautiful.
You see, I wear a cap to hide my bald.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with bald.
Too stressed. I will blame my PhD study. I will blame my supervisor.
Oh, look at that blue.
There's a batik, a blue batik snake. It's a signature of Jackson Kyung. Jackson Kyung is behind the camera. Yeah. You see, that's fun. You spend time, you spend days in their farm. You learn, you try to learn every single thing you do for one day and so on. Yeah. So this is actually another fish that this is one example or one sample of the video I shoot when I pick my fish. Okay. So you can have a look and have a feel. I hope that the audience here can share the same feeling of fish picking. Okay, so now I play that. This is super big. It's very big fish, very thick fish as well. Super big.
Yeah, that is a very thick fish.
Yeah, this fish. This one, you may not be able to see the scale in the video. You can see Jackson on the right.
Very pretty.
This fish is swimming slow and steady. It is like a shark in a tank.
He's wanting his food.
Oh yeah, there's a leftover beef heart there on the glass. And then I pick them. I said, oh, because when I go to the farm, there's a tanks for me. Like I pick my fish, the fish will be placed in my tank. You see? I keep saying "walao eh." That is an expression. So Jackson actually net the fish out and put it into my tank. Yeah, I think that's his brother at the side. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very enjoying. So, and then on the left hand side, this is another batik that I took. I think this is the best picture I have taken on the batik snake. And then this is the one that I put on the ruler. On the ruler, you can see exactly how many centimeters. Because you do not want to keep saying, jumbo, giant. Put in front, put on the ruler, measure it. So, but also I find that when I start saying 20 centimeters, people start to attack me, saying that this is not right. You shouldn't measure the tail. I say I put a fish on top of a ruler. If you want to take total length, take 20 centimeters. If you want to take body size, just take 16 or 17. All right, 16.5 or 17. It's up to you.
Big fish. It's still a big fish.
Still a big fish. I mean, it's quite big. So just up to the audience, like how you want to take it, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that is fair that some breeders, like usually breeders don't measure tail. But to me, I always ask my, sometimes people say that to me, I will tell them, okay, can you measure yourself by cutting your legs out? You want to measure your height with your legs on or without your legs? But that's just me, you know. But I know that people, I don't want to cause arguments or something like that. There are some people like to measure total length. Some people like to measure body length, body size, right? So I put on the ruler, whichever take you like, just do it yourself, right? You can take it as 17 or 20. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's me. And also I'm a fighter, you know, like people want to attack me. I always, if I think I'm right, I just voice out. I tell the truth. I do not fear of any trick, you know. When you know, discus is a very political thing, right? Sometimes people can attack you. For me, I just do not bend down for all these attackers. So this is another fish by Jackson, a well-known one, is a batik. And this is some video of Jackson doing his batik.
Absolutely beautiful.
Actually, do you recognize them?
Those are the not the pen.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them is.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they won some competition in NADA.
Yeah.
NADA discus competition.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, one of the four, I think that was the first time or something, because they keep improving the batik. I mean, Jackson Kyung is keep improving the batik and so on. I think this is one of the four very nice one. But until now, Jackson still continue to improve his fish, because fish is animal, right? All animals, like even include human being, we are not perfect. So, so you always have something, has some flaw here and there, and you try to perfect the imperfection. So those four are, you know, those four are actually strike me a lot when I first saw that video on Facebook when Jackson put out the video. That actually strike me, and then I think it's worth to share this video and with the audience.
Yeah, right. Well, you've got a question from the audience before we go on.
Yep.
Colin would like to know how old those discus are in that video.
I think 1 year plus by the look of the eyes. Maximum is 2
maybe
years.
18 months.
Yeah, maximum.
They had some maturity with them.
Yes, because when discus grow older, you can actually tell from their eyes and also the way they behave. Older fish has a much bigger eyes, and also they are more slower, and also the way they swim, you can feel it once you see fish for I highly believe like you say 18 months to 2 years old, cannot be more than 2 years old. When fish more than 2 years old, they start to look different. The eye will become bigger, and the eye to body ratio, if you remember what Discus 101 show by Al Sabata, in the King of DIY, he actually explained all these things, and it's a good lesson that you can learn, and as well from there you can roughly know whether fish are stunted or not, or things like that.
Right.
Yeah. So this is another fun part for this. These two are videos. On the left is Jackson Kyung. The purpose of this video is like actually gold. I was there trying to pick some albino Millennium Gold AMG, And this four or five in that tank is considered a big AMG. Later on, you pay attention to the scale of that fish with Jackson Keong's face. Then you roughly know, because I cannot catch this fish out and measure it. And yeah, so for albino, because as we know, albino is genetic defects or something, is not normal.
It's a genetic mutation.
Yeah, mutation or something. So yeah. Many of them is not growing. You find that it's hard to grow to be too big. But a good breeder with optimal condition, good food, good water, and so on, they can actually grow the fish to a good size, like 16, 17 centimeter. Is considered a good size for albino. So yeah, over here, have a look. So he's using a white light on top.
算很大了 ，albino 跟他脸差不多了，没有一个脸呐，but 算大了，在 albino 里面。Okay.
Yeah, we like this albino, but I tried to beg Jackson to sell me those fish, but we didn't end up buying. We cannot buy them because he actually keep them for breeding purpose. Right. Now Jackson has some smaller albino AMG babies coming out and so on. So maybe in my next shipment I will do some order with him about the albino AMG.
Okay. Yeah. That would be great.
Over here is another Hacker Cross farm.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. You can see Jackson's voice at the back. Yeah, this is another Hacker Cross that we go. And then now this is Ika that I bought from Jackson.
Right.
In his farm. Yeah, and then this one is in Australia. You can see Sui Yang's time. Not for sale.
We can't get those in the US. And somebody asked, Su Yang is based in Australia and he is an importer in Australia. Jackson is in Malaysia. And at this time, I do not think that anybody is importing Jackson's fish to the US. But if you contact Jeffrey Moy, he may be able to arrange that.
And yes, I think Jeffrey imports some from Jackson. And but it is best to you can ask Jackson directly. He's a friendly guy, but I know that now because of the pandemic, he is very, very slow in replying messenger. But I'm not so sure any formal importer in US about Jackson. And you can contact him directly and ask who is the former importer of him. I know Jeffrey Moy. Jeffrey Moy import from him as well. And yeah.
And other than that, you can also contact a transshipper and find out if they can contact Jackson and make arrangements with him. And if they can, then you can order directly from Jackson, and then you pay the transshipping fee. Yeah. And that's another way to order.
That is so beauty. That's the beauty of United States. You guys are so good. You can. I saw some video of Peter that do import wild discus directly from Hugo. That's amazing. And also, I think Tammy, you and Pat or something also doing some import of wild, isn't it?
Pat gets wilds from an importer in Florida.
Yeah, that's nice. Like yeah, Pat is also my idol. You know, like when I was starting, that was like 10 years or 12 years ago. You know, when I was knowing nothing about this, because that Pat actually helped me. Because
she is an absolutely great lady.
Oh, she is good.
So much about wilds.
you know, like I knew that that was long time ago. She was actually importing wild green, and not importing, keeping wild green and make them spawn. They have wild green babies, and she took nice picture on Simply Discus forum.
Right.
Oh, I tell you, that is the best moment. I mean, and that all these things actually is very inspiring. US people.
I don't know if I'm
doing
giving
so
anything
good.
away, but Pat just got a group of wild teffies in.
Oh,
Absolutely
that's where she
gorgeous.
start. You know, she
Yeah.
used to. I think she might be attached to Tefe.
Yeah, they're gorgeous and they fight all the time. They're absolutely beautiful, healthy, and constantly. She sends me videos all the time because they're constantly fighting.
Oh,
So funny
is that
to
because
see.
they want to mate or something?
They're most of the time I think it's over food. She said they have
Okay.
calm periods, but when she feeds them, they fight all the time.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And also I remember she actually get water from well, isn't it? Well water, and then the water is too hard or something, and then she have to go through RO to have to bring the hot water down to a softer water and so on.
Yeah, she has a high pH, similar to mine. I think it's around 8.2.
You see, there's all
RO.
where my respect is. You know, you guys, even with hot water, you can still do all the job, do the extra miles with RO and so on. Like
Well,
for
I
me,
mean,
I'm quite glad.
there's benefits to the higher pH. The higher mineral content helps with growing fish.
Yep, that's correct.
Jumbo fish with my high pH.
Yep.
Mineral content in the water. Pat lowers hers for the wilds. She does lower the pH for the wilds.
Yep.
The ones that she has in normal pH, they're very big fish.
Yeah, that's correct.
You have to worry about the
mineral.
bacteria, but
Yeah, the mineral in the water actually help with the growth and so on. You can either get mineral from the water or in the food. You can add extra more multivitamins or minerals in the food.
Yes.
And then when a fish actually consume them, it's the same thing as
absolutely
similar effect. So there's no
I
right.
recommend that. I mean, anybody that's making food and they ask for a recipe, stabilized vitamin C and a good complex multivitamin. I mean, absolutely must have in whatever food you're making, whether it's a seafood mix, a beef heart mix, or whatever it is. You really got to have those, and you need to make sure that your vitamin C is stabilized vitamin C.
Yeah,
that's very important.
In Australia we use Centrum.
Yeah,
for that. Yeah. So this is my tank.
We have that here too. I use the store brand. I'm not paying the extra money to get name brand for the same thing, but
okay, I see.
Use this essentially the Centrum Complete.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, that's good. You also grow giants, Tammy.
A couple of giants in. I've definitely got a couple of giants in here.
Yeah. When the time is right, you're going to share with us, isn't it?
I will share with everybody when right.
That's good. You see, I review your secret.
Yeah, no, you're not.
A little bit. I hope you don't mind. Yeah. Okay. Next is Ika, the red Ika, because we are touching on red Ika. These two red Ika is the most beautiful one we import directly from Dr. Teo. I mean, for those who know Dr. Teo, you know that he's spending his whole life trying to improve the redfish. If you watch a channel by Discus Fanatic, then you will see one interview about international discus judge. And in that video, they actually mentioned the dedication of Dr. Teo. So you see, this fish that we import and sold to Roger becomes so famous, like that storm the internet. and Dr. Teo himself is so happy, and then until he used that as his what is that called, the logo of Facebook or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. If I had it in my head and then it went, the profile picture.
Oh, yeah, profile picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil himself used that as his profile picture. But something that we hate to say that is like after we import this red Ika, and when the thing becomes so famous, there are so many people steal the picture. And also there are some terrible discus reseller in Australia. Every red fish, even without Ika, without the center bar, is called red Ika. You know, just to sell the fish, it's not red Ika. You know, it's without center bar, it's like a wild cross and so on. You see, I think this happened to discus community since the long time ago, right? Last time when Alenka become very famous, every fish, you know, a little bit wild, Alenka. And then later on, Curipera. Terrible.
Yeah. Roger Lamb says that's a nice Ika.
Oh, that's a nice Ika. That's his Ika.
That is a nice Ika, Roger. Absolutely. 100% agree with that.
But I tell you, this is something that as because I myself is a researcher, we stick to principle. I hate people. This is like stealing, you know, like principle and honesty is very important. It's like you don't do that kind of, you know, dodgy thing, right? Just to mislead people and so on. So that point, I hate a lot. I hate this kind of behavior.
Yeah, I don't.
Down in my heart. Yeah. So this is another Jackson fish. This is a Iripisi cross. Last time he bought, I think he bought 4 nice Iripisi, and those are the offspring. I think he crossed with some of his Elton Flora or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are pretty too.
Yeah, these 2 are the golden batik from Jackson, very good size. I paid top dollar for these 2 fish, a lot of money.
I bet. I mean, I could definitely see that. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Even
the cost is more than $1,000. The cost. US dollar.
Oh my gosh.
You can guess from below 2,000, something like that. So
I believe it.
You know, when I first reached there on the spot, I see these 2 fish is so amazing. It's like a wow. I was from other famous farm that I visited, and then I come back to look at his other farm in Jackson. These 2 fish simply stand out. Even my father-in-law that followed me and saw these 2 fish, they said, "Oh, the first time he saw fish this big, this round, this beautiful." You have to really see the fish on the spot to appreciate their beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these 2 fish, I successfully buy that and import that, and but then a little bit of shame over here is like there's a little bit of peppering issue. I do not sell them. They end up dying in my house.
Oh.
Eventually, after a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because of ethic, you for us it's like things have to be ethical, right? If you think something not good, if you do not want them, do not sell it to your client. If you cannot convince yourself you really like them, you appreciate them, do not sell it. It is better for you to to sacrifice the cost than to make people unhappy.
Yeah.
But I do say that, but because our water is harder than Malaysia, than Jackson Farm, and I highly believe that is the water hardness that caused the fish to have a bit of pepper and stress.
Right.
In Jackson Farm is just like this, so clean, so beautiful. The golden the golden is a meaty thing. The golden is like almost transparent. You can see it's very delicate. It's a very delicate fish.
I see it in it. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean,
I think Carrie loves golden, right? I think you do a lot of golden.
Carrie is with us actually watching.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
you can see them. They are very, very pretty. I like the gold in the fins and in the body. That's just a really pretty fish.
Yeah. And also you look at the pattern. Look at the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to say that I have to declare that this is not. I'm not blaming anybody for this. On the spot, the fish is really good. Really good. I highly believe is the Geelong water is harder. And also maybe our temperature, our whole environment, the fish becomes stressed and then have a bit of pepper. Yeah.
And that can happen. Absolutely.
So when you talk about Malaysia, you cannot miss out food. So when I go back, because I'm a Malaysian Chinese, when I go back, food. Every time is, you go out, and over in Australia, I'm not often dining outside because they are expensive. And when I go back to Malaysia, every single meal I go dine outside because they are so cheap. And also if you do the conversion, it's so good. It's really enjoying. We do not eat in big restaurant, but it's like good food.
It looks delicious.
Yeah, it is delicious. And this is the food I have with Jackson, I believe. When you look at the drink opposite the table, that is Jackson sitting in front of that. Yeah, nice, very fulfilling meal.
Looks like it. Looks like too much for me.
Oh, I tell you, over there, when I come back, I gain weight.
Believe it.
Every time when I do the trip, I spend like a week in Malaysia. Because my parents are still there. We have cars and so on. We have a few cars. And then my parents can lend me one car. I drive all the way up to Penang. And sometimes my uncle, my father-in-law drive me in KL. My uncle will drive me, and sometimes if there's nobody and I have to drive, so I drive all the way to Penang, visit a few breeders and so on, and bang, coming slowly go down, and then go all the way down to Johor.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but full on every day. Apart from you go back to sleep, you're on the road, traveling on the road, meeting breeders, spending time in their farm, and talk to them, and having good food. So enjoyable. The whole trip. I hate COVID. For the last 2 years, I just can't, because before that, every single import, every single shipment, I fly. I never miss one. I fly.
Right.
Yeah, it's so enjoyable. I hope the audience can feel what I want to convey. Sometimes picture cannot tell the full story, but I hope you can feel a bit of joy and so on from the sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got me wanting to take a trip to Malaysia now.
Next time after COVID, maybe we can plan a trip.
That sounds like a plan right there. Or maybe we can drive my husband and Carrie and.
Yeah, and then I can rent a bus. Yeah, and hang on, something pop out on my screen. I don't know why is that. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, I think I asked Siri out. Hang on. Of the Siri. Yep. So this is another sharing. This is an old fish farm. Do you have problem hearing me, Tammy?
No, I hear you.
Okay, yeah. This is
your microphone changed, but I can still hear you.
Oh, microphone changed?
Yeah, it did something, but I can still hear you fine.
Yeah, let me see, because just now Siri came out, and let me have a look. Built-in microphone. Yep, should be all right. Now I just set the thing back. Yeah, so can still hear right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is an old fish farm that Jackson brought me there in Kuala Lumpur. You can feel that this fish farm used to be the number one. I mean, not number one, used to be a very famous one in Malaysia. Look at their, I treat that as an antique, like a museum. It is like a discus farm museum. And the good thing about that is when I first enter, you have a feeling. You feel, how good they are. the how do I say, the glory years, 20, 30 years ago, happened in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur and so on. The glory they used to be and so on. And over here, you can see their piping. This fish farm is very well built. And then even their piping, the way they actually do the plumbing and so on. And yeah, you see this, the beauty about this fish farm is they can do water change straight away by a tap, and they do not wet the floor. All the wastewater will be sending down into a bigger pipe and drain out.
Wow, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if I go over there if I could buy that fish farm.
No more fish in there. You can buy some air. You can buy some air. Yeah. Okay. So this is the old air pump. They run. It just feels like antique. The washing part and so on. You see, this is called store makanan ikan. This is a Malay. You know what it means in English?
What does it mean?
Storage for fish food.
Okay, storage.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God.
On the right is a hose. This is where they process beef heart. You can see the one for the knife. You see a steel knife sitting there, you know, already rotten or something. And then you see the hose, you see the whole thing like this, the sink, something like a sink on the floor. All these things are for them to process beef heart. You can still see the stain. So all these things, like, I have a feeling it's like I don't know, it's a very funny feeling.
Yeah. Carrie wants to know why they shut down.
Sorry?
Carrie wants to know why they shut down.
I'm not sure. I think maybe because of competition or something like that. When other people become better and better. This is a problem with discus. When other people become better and better, when you are not catching up, you slowly lose out. Yeah. You see, nowadays if you go to a farm like Jackson and YCID, they are very advanced, especially their filter system and so on. So now it's become more and more advanced. This is why they have higher efficiency. They can grow bigger fish. The fish is in a more stable conditions, and the food they consume more food. They grow faster because, as we know, discus competition is a competition between who can grow the fish biggest in the shortest amount of time.
Right.
Right. If you can achieve that, you have a big round fish. Of course, behind the scene is also the genetic and the coloration, how they cross, how they make a fish, and so on. And sometimes you find that at a certain period, you have a beautiful fish from the same breeder, and after that, no more. You cannot see the same fish again because of the genetic. They have to cross the fish because you have unstable gene or something. They just lose out the fish. Okay, here's the interesting part. I want to ask the audience. Over here on the left-hand side, you see a knife. You see a weighing machine. Weighing machine is for you to weigh beef heart and the ratio of vitamins you want to add and all these things, right? The multi-minerals and so on. Do you see a small tub there? A small white tub there? Guess what is that? Sorry?
The small white container.
Yeah, the small white container. Anybody want to guess something? What is in there? Anybody writes anything there, Tammy?
It takes a minute. We're on a little bit of delay for the YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't see anybody answering yet, so.
Yep. Nobody want to take a guess?
Carrie said intermediate fish.
Uh, is that a good time for us to review what is in there? Tammy?
We got no answers. Somebody says vitamins. That was close. That was
Very, very close. Very, very close. Okay, I will review that. That's funny. When I saw this one, that's funny. That is Metro.
that's all.
Yeah. So you guys should know, right? I mean, for Discus Keeper, in your lifetime, you must have used Metro before. I do not believe most of us use Metro before. Very, very hard for me to imagine somebody that never used Metro before.
Just before you showed the picture, a couple of answers came in. Carrie said chlorophyll pink and Matt said garlic.
Garlic, okay. Yeah, garlic is one of the very important ingredient to add into your food because
Yes.
that can actually excite fish to eat more, and they like the smell. They can open your appetite.
And from the scientific side of it, I can tell you that it is also a deterrent for certain parasites.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
So,
That's correct. So that's very good. Very close. Smart guy, smart guy. Okay. And then on the right-hand side are plastic tanks. You know what are they for? You can see the holes on the top, air stone, and so on.
those are for the fry
Yes, they are for babies discus,
babies.
free swimmer, and so on. You see, when I look through all these, there are so many history left behind. That's why I said when I was there, I'm going to take a lot of pictures. I try to take the pictures and store that as a memory. You not often see that. And most of the fish farm that is abandoned, they will demolish that. I'm not sure whether if I go back later after COVID, will this fish farm be still there? Will the land be occupied by other buildings? Will, things can happen. So
Right.
I'm not sure when I go back after COVID, all this, whatever I share or all this picture will still be there. You don't know.
No, and this is part of the history of the fish. I mean, you know, at some point, this fish farm that's closed had a hand in creating a strain that may be here today.
Yes, that's correct.
So,
Dated long back from Smith Folk, and then Jack Watley and all these ancestors, all these people that actually contribute to discus, contribute to the beautiful fish we see today. This is something I appreciate a lot. When you read the history, you will gain more appreciation of discus. And I also read the book by Blair about wild discus, where they catch them, and the discus habitat. All these things that actually, the more you learn about history, about what happened in the past, and I used to remember that discus is so expensive in the old days. It's like you can buy a car for a breeding pair or something like that. That is the price people pay in the old days, 50 years ago. And also they have problem shipping from Brazil back down into Germany or United States and all these things. So a lot of beautiful things. This is why when I saw that, I said, whoa, this is precious. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to store them, keep it as a memory for myself, and so on.
yes.
That is me selecting wild discus, because I have a very good friend in Malaysia. He do import for wild, and then he helped quarantine and all these things. So I was in his farm picking the fish I like and took some picture as a memory.
And that's
very good guy.
The best way to pick the fish is to be there in person and choose your fish.
That is correct. That is the best way to get good stock, good quality stock. Because sometimes picture can look nice, but then and the fish in real life, they have some health issue or things like that that cannot be tell from the picture. So when you're on the spot, you look at the behavior of the fish, how the fish should swim, how they breathe and so on. You can roughly know what is the problem. Sometimes, of course, when the fish is after feeding, they breathe faster. You have to understand all these things and what to look for. Yeah.
Yes.
So these are some of the fish I picked. The light isn't that good, you know, like and also, you know, Malaysia is very humid, high humidity. So sometimes the phone got blur out and things like that. Because in Malaysia it's so hot, most of the time we are in an aircon room or in a car with aircon. When it comes down of the humid and when your phone touch down, you got blurting and so on. So the picture isn't that good, but those are the fish that I pick, you know, semi-royal and royal. Oh, I enjoy them. So when they put them Kulumuchuri or something like that, royals, those are my tank. This is my tank on the top left, where after I pick, I put them, net them into my tanks and so on. So you see reserve and so on. Can you see the reserve sign on there? Yeah, and then below is like when I pick a fish, and these two fish on the right, they are breeding in his farm. This is a pair. These two is a pair. These two are pair. So yeah, I love wild discus a lot. Like at the beginning, I started with wild discus. I used to hate domestic discus until Australia have a new rules that you cannot import wilds. At the time, there's a running dry, you know, no more wild discus. And then I start to learn about domestic discus. I chat with Roger, you know, that time, you know, we are all hobbies, you know, like a small group of people, very friendly, nice people. And then we talk about that. He used to say that, oh, domestic isn't that hard. I was confused with all the names, you know, like that time I was confused with all the names. So many names, how to differentiate them, even color and so on. Because I used to help importers taking pictures of their fish and so on. He used to complain, hey, this one look too yellow. This one is too, you know, like this is a yellow fish you do not want, because sometimes the coloration of the camera, I said, how can you differentiate it? I don't know. To me, it's only golden color for wild discus. And then you have wild green, wild blue, hackle, you know, brown and all these things. I cannot differentiate what color is that, you know, that time. So funny. Yeah, he was, oh no, this color is wrong. How wrong? Because I was using a Nikon camera have a yellow hint. Whatever picture you take, you have yellow in them. Yeah. So I have to go back and then later on have to adjust the thing and so on. Yeah. So after Jackson and all the wilds and all these things, we make a trip to meet to go to YCID and Winston. So there's a little hiccup. This is our car on the top. It broke down. It's my uncle's car. The engine is actually, because you know Malaysia is so hot. The engine is actually not explode, but I don't know what's the right word. The water boil. It
overheated.
Yeah, the temperature go too high. You imagine I go from Penang and back down to KL, and then now this is like the half Malaysia. The half Malaysia, Penang is here.
Yeah.
Then you come down, this is KL, and this is the end of Malaysia. That is Johor, where YCID is. So I have to make a trip for the whole. You have to go up, down, and go down further. So the car can't take my travel, actually broke down. And the water temperature, it becomes so high and just stop, can't do anything. So on the left bottom, you see the highway patrol actually saw our car, they dropped by, they put the sign over there, you see the sign there. But the good thing about me is I say it's so lucky. You know what I found at the side of the road? I found a $100 ringgit. This is Malaysia dollar, which is equivalent to maybe $30 Australian dollar. I was so happy. I found a note at the side of the road where the car broke down. That is something.
Than that.
Sorry?
That was very lucky. You can't get luckier than that.
Yeah, that was like, oh. Yeah, and then on the right hand side is like, because the car broke down, we can't do anything, but I still want to go to Johor, right?
Yeah.
So we actually eventually the tour guide came. We asked the tour guide bring us to the nearest suburb that we can take bus. And then on the right hand side you see Jebat Express. This is a this is actually a bus ticket. A bus ticket.
Okay.
We take the bus from Melaka all the way to Johor Lakin. And then the boss of YCID, the one you saw in on the picture beforehand, and
Yeah.
Vincent, they both drive his car and pick us out in from the bus station. Supposed to be a half-day trip, turned out to be a one-day trip because of this car broke down.
Right. That was
Yeah.
bad luck, but it turned out good in the end.
Yes, it turned out good. So to give you a bit of intro about YCID, this was, as I mentioned, the boss is a Taiwanese. This was his fish room, because he resell fish as well in Taiwan, but now is no more.
That's a beautiful room.
Yeah, very beautiful. And then in my house, I built my fish room according to the size of his. You see, he has 9 tanks
Yeah.
over here. Like if you look from this one, there are 9 tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tanks on the right, and then a 4-foot at the front, and then another 6-foot on the left.
Right.
Yeah, and the tank in my house, I built according to his tank. I in fact see these tanks, all these things include the wood in Johor when I visit him, because he actually has a condo, not condo, what is that called? A bungalow. He has a bungalow in a golf club in Johor, and then he moved all the things into the bungalow, and then he put me to stay in his bungalow on the second level. And then in the first level, you see exactly all the tanks, include the driftwood and so on. Later on, you can see in the video, a tall driftwood. He also brought the whole thing back down to Malaysia when he went and invest in Malaysia. All these things has a lot of feeling. So, and we become very, very close. We built great bonding and great trust. So you have a look. Hang on, I will play this one. This is a driftwood.
Yeah, that is a big piece of driftwood. It's a great room. It really is.
This is his VIP room. I think when he shot this video, he's about to close down and go and invest in Malaysia. So this is his used to be his VIP room. So he will put his best discus in there, and you see there's a table and chair so that you can sit there having tea, having break, talk, appreciate the fish. You can imagine the atmosphere. I think discus and so on is supposed to be like this. You know, you create great atmosphere, make good friends. In fact, through my discus journey, I make a lot of friends. In Australia, like you. I make friends. This is what Yen Horoy and the Turkish guy say, that through discus they make friends.
Yes.
A lot of friends. Like, of course, there are good people and bad people, right? I make friends with good people, because there are still a lot of dodgy people in discus. Yeah.
But yeah, I've made a lot of good friends in discus as well. So
yeah, I think that is what really matter, right? Is what really matter. We are human beings, right? Yeah. So this is one of them, and I will show you their farm. This is YCID. Very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. I've been to so many farms, all the big farms, medium farms, small farms, all along Malaysia. I
Right.
never see farm this tidy. I never see this farm this scale. And also, this is only one of them. They have 3 farms like this, and also now building the 4th one.
Wow.
So you can imagine the scale. So this is one of them that have the second layer. They actually put up at the second layer, put a screen. The other three is similar scale, but don't have the top one.
Right.
Yeah. So I will play this. You know what is on the left, right? What is on the left-hand side of the chair?
You throw the glass?
Yeah.
It's their breeding farm.
No, they are putting a bar there to
Okay.
serve alcohol. So funny, right?
That is.
The door there is a room.
Yeah.
In case you have workers or something, you can sleep in there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And over
Looks
here is
comfortable, though.
is a sofa for you, like a cinema. You know, you can. I think the boss will be happy to have workplace like this. You know, you can from top down, you can view what the workers are doing and so on. You can rest if you are tired, and then at the same time you have bars serving alcohol and drinks.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll continue.
Wow. That is so clean.
Sorry.
I said, that is so clean.
Yeah, very clean, very tidy. Outside of that wall is their big filter system. Big filter system, and also very, very tall water storage, like at least 2-story tall, at least. Yeah.
That's a beautiful facility. Absolutely.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money for that.
I can tell.
Yeah,
Really
very
nice.
clean, very good. Yeah.
Carrie said we're definitely going now.
Sorry?
Carrie said we're definitely going to Malaysia now.
Yeah. It's a good experience. As a discus lover, I think this will make you gain more appreciation when you understand all the breeders are very hardworking guys. I tell you, they wake up in the early morning, let's say about 3 a.m. to start their day job, 3 a.m. From
Wow.
processing beef heart, feeding, look after the fish, go through the farms and all this. Oh, their life isn't easy. Life isn't easy. Yeah, yeah. You have to be there to really appreciate their work. Then you will have gained more appreciation of the discus that we see in our tank. Eventually, you know, fly all the way to United States or to Australia to be eventually sit in our tank, just like the wild discus. You knew that they are from the Amazon. That may you gain more appreciation of them and the meaning. Understand the meaning, how meaningful it is to see this beautiful fish end up in your farm, in your tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question. They didn't ask the question, but somebody was wondering how many tanks that is in that room.
1,000 plus.
There's your answer.
Yeah, 1,000 plus in this room. It's fun, right? It's fun,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Okay,
That's a
now,
lot of tanks.
sorry?
That's a lot of tanks.
Yes. And this is only one of their farm. You can imagine that. How much you are going to spend just on the plumbing itself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. This is the best farm I ever see
It looks
during my trip.
clean. It looks really nice.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Now I'm going to share with you their latest breeding facility. This is their breeding tanks. Only I think these are only capture because I'm going to do this one last week. I asked YCID boss to send me some video. So these two are the one. He said, "Oh, the worker just sent me two because he's in Taiwan. He want to inspect the how the worker doing and so on. He have to do monitoring from overseas, from Taiwan, because farm is in Malaysia. Because of a pandemic, he was stuck in Taiwan, right? So this is the two video his worker just sent him. I'll play this one. Just for you guys to understand, they have close to 400 breeding tanks.
Jesus.
400 breeding tanks. Yeah, these two are just part of it, a small part of it. And also, you know, like sometimes they don't, yeah. Hang on. Yeah. So yeah. I'll play this.
That's beautiful.
Very good fish.
So the whole thing is really to show you what happens on the importer side so that you understand when you're paying, you know, big money for these beautiful fish, why you're paying that money. There's a lot more to it that goes into it than just bagging up a fish and shipping it over to the US and putting it in some tank.
And US is considered cheap, is considered good. In Australia, we are worse because we have to pay very expensive biosecurity costs, the quarantine costs, and so on. Like for one shipment, usually even the airport charge. For the last shipment, the airport, they just hold my boxes there and let the biosecurity guy to come in to inspect. Guess how much they charge me?
How much is that?
$1,900.
Oh, my goodness.
Airport charge, just the airport charge.
Wow.
I even have the receipt to prove that. Crazy.
What happens to the fish after that?
Oh, later on I will show after the land, the airport will hold for us until they cannot release the fish until the biosecurity came in and inspect every single fish. Every single fish. They want to make sure there's no illegal fish being brought in. They want to make sure there's not, they will record DOA and all these things. They will inspect the fish.
Right.
We pay huge money for the import. Terrible. Like US, I say, oh, I was so envious. Oh, US is so good, you know. But Australia, we have a lot of hidden costs that associate with the import. Here you go. The food again. YCID and Winston. This is the best fish I ever taste. Until now, I don't know what is the name of this fish. I heard it's a very expensive fish, and this is how they come. And then on the top right, the fish scale. Because they cook the fish so nice, you can eat the fish scale. I think they. Oh yeah, no. The fish scale they remove, they put it there, and then they fry it. They fry it for us to eat, and then we can actually consume the fish scale.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the fish scale is soft. For this fish, for this particular fish, the scale is very, very soft. It's like chewing, very chewing.
Well, I don't see any discus in the plate, so we're good there.
No. No discus in the plate. Discus maybe don't taste good, I think.
Oh, I don't know. They eat it in South America, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw that in Blair's book. In South America, some people eat discus.
Yeah.
Some I saw they even eat altum. I said, oh, this is a waste.
Yeah, now there's not going to be too much to that. I mean,
not much meat.
Some of the panfish here we eat, the bluegill and some of the other ones, but
yeah.
I just don't think there's not that much meat on these fish. So
yeah, that's right. And then food, all the food. Oh, now I'm hungry.
Oh, that does look good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So now the real highlight of YCID is their Pantera eruption. I believe you US guy know Pantera eruption well.
Yes.
Yeah, it make it so famous. It's so famous. So I'm going to play this video. This is the official lodge of Super Pantera eruption. And they actually have a minister come and lodge the opening of Super Pantera eruption.
Awesome.
That minister is actually coming from the Prime Minister office of Malaysia.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I will play the
Absolutely
video,
amazing.
and then you can have a look. And the guy inside is actually Vincent. He is a breeder of Super Pantera eruption. This is the officer.
Okay.
Yeah, from the government, you see, from fishery, Malaysia fishery. That's Vincent. Vincent and Ricky, I think, Ricky Lim. If you know them, if you know him.
I know of them. I
Yeah.
know the fish when I see them. So
Yeah. And you see, this is Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad. That he was the Prime Minister of Malaysia, second time. When he
Awesome.
became the Prime Minister, he was 90 something.
oh
95
wow.
or 93, I forget. Yeah. He was when he was young, he was a Prime Minister, and then later on, this is the second time he become Prime Minister. I think he's the oldest Prime Minister in the world or something, I think.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, he's a smart, sharp guy. And I think people praise him for bringing Malaysia out of the Asian economic crisis in 95 or something, 97.
Right.
There's a Soros case or something. Yeah. So he's respect. A lot of people respect him. Prime Minister. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So it's from there. Kementerian means government something. Yeah. Pertanian and Industry Asas Tani. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the specific what is that called? A branch under the Prime Minister office.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And hang on. Yeah, I think I finished that. Yeah. So this is a Super Pantera eruption. Just to share a few. Of course, I think I'm the first one who bought Super Pantera eruption from them in the whole world.
Wow, they're awesome fish. I've seen pictures, lots of different pictures of them, and they're
Yeah.
really
Yeah. When they first came out, it's very, very expensive, over $2,000.
right.
Just the cost. Just the cost. You see, for us to import into Australia, we have to pay agent 15%. And then we have to pay government charge 10%. And on top of that, you add the shipping cost and the quarantine cost and the airport cost and all these things. You can imagine how much I have to sell.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be very, very expensive in Australia.
It's very, very expensive at the time. That was because for me, when I import, I do not know whether I can sell or not, because it is purely because of love. I say, as a discus keeper, I have to keep one at least as a memory or as a significant or whatever. I have to have one at least, right? So I bought, and who knows, I managed to sell a few, and yeah. So here is I think this is Roger Lam's. If Roger is still there, I think this is Roger Lam's tank. And this is
That's a big fish.
Yeah, at that time they haven't named it. I actually named him King Taipan. Yeah, yeah. I name it King Taipan. That's myself. And then I think later on, Winston do sell eruption with more snake face, Taipan. They name it Taipan. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, when I sold to Roger, because the breeder, try to come up with a name, because this is a snake, leopard snake and so on. So I call it King Taipan. Yeah. Because Taipan is a poisonous snake, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then you can see below that, there's a measurement. It's a 20 centimeter. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, I have to say, this is disgraceful. I mean, after we make Super Pantera so famous, now in Australia, there are some stupid breed, reseller, everything, Super Pantera. When there's an eruption and so on, a fine spotted eruption called Super Pantera. But if you trace back to the history, we have the stamp, everything is recorded, we have the track record, all these things. They are not Super Pantera. This is very cheap to me. I hate this kind of thing. Cheap. Yeah. So you see, yeah, this is a beautiful Super Pantera on the left and right. I think this fish, I think Roger took his fish first, and this one is the one. That time I imported 3. Roger took his 2, and then 1 left for me to photograph him. So this is the one in my house that I managed to photograph. And then on the right, on the left is a nice one with Roger. Yeah. You look at the face. Look at the face. The spots are fine, not all well defined. The face, the gill, the head, everything, even towards the stomach and the fin.
Everything.
Everything is fine spot and pattern. I keep talking to Roger and say, I don't know what else to look for after you see Pantera. After you will appreciate them more in real life. I saw a breeding pair to a Sydney investor. He's a fund manager and a very good one. And then he bought a pair and so on. And then he said, after seeing Pantera, the other fish I look at that is like nothing. He don't feel the kick anymore. He said, after seeing Pantera, and then he said, you're no more feeling the excitement when you look at other fish. I'm not sure whether this is a curse or anything, It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will continue. I think we spent a lot of time, 1.5 hours already. I tell you, there's so much more I can share, but yeah. So this is a snow Pantera. Very fine pattern, but I see much bigger one, a much better one in Winston Farm. I think he sold to other people already. This is the one I managed to grab, the best at the time when I buy. Yeah, this is a snow Pantera. This is a fish you like, huh? Emmy.
Absolutely beautiful.
This is a wild cross from YCID. And another, this is a giant leopard, really, really big. It's so round when they arrive. It's so thick and round. Yeah. These 2 fish, actually 4. I imported 4 of them. I sold it to a youngster in Melbourne. He also is a crazy fish lover.
I like the blues.
Yeah. This is I call it ocean green cross. Many times the breeder do not come up with names. And sometimes for me, it's like, okay, what you want to name it? They will tell you how they get this fish, the strain of the fish, but they don't come up with the name.
Right.
Until when you understand the background, the strain and so on, and then I come up with the name. That's how a new fish that came out, we have the privilege to give a name to them.
Right.
We have the privilege to give a name to them. Yeah, not like Ika, right? Dr. Teo is the one who named Red Ika. It's him. And then like Pantera, because it's the first time. So we have the privilege to name them King Taipan. Yeah, same like this. This is a unique fish, very, very unique fish. And in the whole fish farm, I only found 2 in the whole fish farm. Fish look like this. Yeah.
Beautiful. I know they're hard to come by.
Yeah, I only found 2.
Absolutely
That's
gorgeous.
it. Yeah, beautiful. And then this is another big fish from YCID. When you measure it, is a 20 centimeter, include tail.
Oof.
And this is the whole team. Yeah, the team. Yeah. So now finish the breeders, and then here's the import. You can see I like beautiful fish. You can compare with my face. I'm 182, so you roughly know the scale of the fish. And then this is the import, and you see this is the officer checking our stock. You can see biosecurity there. Over on the right hand side is William, the owner, the son of Jeffrey, the owner of New Life Aquarium in Keysborough.
Uh-huh.
You can see another guy. They are sometimes they have 3 or 4 officers. They come to inspect every single fish you import. He's trying to make fun. I mean, create good atmosphere. I think he talk something. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, talking to the officer. Yeah. So that's me, and this is my latest import.
That was a lot.
And,
Those boxes.
yeah, we have about 1,000 discus in there, and another a few hundred angels, and about 500 episto. Episto are small South American cichlid.
Yes.
Yeah. So majority of them, because discus is so big, they take out a lot of space. Majority of them are discus. Yeah, we like to import big, and yeah. So this is some of the things that end up in my tank. You look at the shape and the pattern and the color.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's round, right? It's a round fish.
Very round.
Yeah, yeah, I like.
But I haven't seen any fish in your tanks that are not very round.
There are some, because fish are just animals. You can't be always perfect. So when we understand that, then we will appreciate more about the animals. Yeah, this is some of the pictures by my Sydney customer. He only recently become serious. Before that, he is not so serious. I'm not sure whether he's watching or not.
I have no idea, but he has some beautiful fish, that's for sure.
Yeah, so this is his tank shot. I mean, this is albino, some brilliant turquoise, and some reflection deep on the top. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Here is some interesting thing. One of my customer, he's a vet in Perth. His name, I think, is Adrian Fleer. He owned a clinic, a vet clinic, and then one of his fish got head standing. This fish is a big fish, head standing. You can see on the video, it's not behaving well. And then as a vet, what he do? He put the fish under X-ray. You can see on the right-hand side on the top, this is an X-ray machine. And then he X-ray the fish, and eventually he found that the spline is not perfect. This spline actually pushing towards the bladder. This is a swim bladder, pushing against the bladder and can cause issue. So you see, this is a good thing about vet. He can and also the mentality that want to see the truth and want to find out the truth. What is the main cause? What is the main problem? They investigate. Just like you do your research and so on. Try to
Exactly.
go deep down into the issue. Try to find out why is that? What caused this thing? So he found that there's a spline defect, and then he see that there's no crack bones. There's no new crack bones or something. So he suspect this could be the old wound or something, the old defect or damage or things like that.
Right. And I think we see a lot of head standing going on, and I think a lot of it could be something like that, maybe an injury or something like that, rather than a bacterial infection, rather than a parasite. It could very well be injuries.
Yeah, it could be injury.
How to fix it? Well, there may not be a way.
Yeah, but nobody knows. You can see he he has a ruler here, try to measure the fish as well. I told him 20 centimeters, he may not believe me. I put on the ruler. But having said that, when I saw him the fish is all right. And I end up replacing him fish because I talked to the breeder. I told him that since that this fish is head standing, and then have some effect, he found the problem issue, and then the breeder agreed to replace him with two fish, I think, because he paid top dollar for this fish, and Ika and some other golden or something. I forget. That was years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So this is his procedure. So what he do is like he said, since there is a permanent damage, he can't do anything. But then he will try to see what he can do. So what he do is he use needle to actually suck out the air, and then later on of the fish, and later on he administers some antibiotic.
Right.
Yeah.
Prevent bacterial infection at the
Yep, that's correct.
side of the injection.
Yeah, that's correct.
So. See, I did it with a much smaller needle.
Yeah. Not so
A
sure.
lot bigger needle than I did. Yeah, Carrie, it can very well be a birth defect.
So what he do is, I think this one, he put in the water, and then he do the same. You can see the operation light, right? On the top, there are five lights. That's an operation light.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see after sucking the fish is sinking.
Yeah, sinking there.
You see?
Yep.
First time
What do you reckon?
having procedure on fish.
Okay.
At the side should be his nurse working.
That guy's done this procedure on a fish that was head standing, and it did work for a period of time. And the fish went back to head standing within, I think, about a week.
Yeah, yeah, that is right. Head standing is a very hard to cure issue thing. This is after the procedure. You can still see the wound there. Seems to gain his balance back, but in the long run, the fish didn't make it.
Pause that. Guys, if you look at the tail of the fish right here, if you see that white line, that white area at the end of the tail, that's probably going to fall off. A lot of people get that when they move fish from one tank to another.
Yeah,
And
that's correct.
Really normal. I've gotten messages from people that had that, and I tried to explain it to them, but that'll actually just break off and then regrow at a later.
Yeah, they will regrow. That's not a big issue. When we import fish, sometimes fish, you never know the fish how they are handled at the shipper side, and also they are in the box for 2 days, 48 hours, sometimes more than 48 hours.
Yeah.
So we always see these kind of things, and you have to acclimate the fish. This is why we have to do quarantine, and weeks before you can sell. So I think I hate pandemics. So yeah, I hate COVID. I actually miss all the fish trade. And you can see that on the left hand side, there's Dirk from Germany. He's a very well-known discus breeders that breed red turquoise. In the middle is me. We have a Zoom meeting and so on. We have chat and so on. And on the right hand side, do you know him?
Who is that?
He's a Yen Horoy, I can't pronounce his last name. Yen. He's the one who runs Discus Fanatic. He's a French guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then below that there's Dwayne Chong. I think he's the one who actually ran the Zoom, and then we are just a participant.
Okay.
Yeah. He's control. He's a computer guy, so he's doing the chat room and so on. Yeah, that was at the beginning of pandemic. I said we hate pandemics, and then in the talk we discussed about discus competition. When is this going to end and so on? You know, they after 2020, I think the last competition, discus competition, was 2020 in France or 2019 in France. That is the last discus competition.
Yeah. And I know that NADA, I think they're going to move theirs out to next year,
Yeah.
2023. No,
I
20,
heard Holland is going to have discus competition again this year.
really?
Yeah.
Well,
That a few of my friends that told me that. Yeah.
right.
So they are going, and yeah. So that's it. So I will share until now. I have a lot more to share, but I will stop here today because they will be too long and so on. And first of all, I have to thank all my clients that actually support me along the journey. Like I started as a hobby. I don't even know that I would do import and so on. And the people that help me, the clients that support me, the people that support me, a lot of good people I met, and they actually opened my eye because a lot of them come from different backgrounds, and I make friends, a lot of friends along the way. And yeah, I also met this lady, actually changed my wife's life. I mean, changed my wife's career and so on. And yeah, she's doing real estate. And then there's a day that she came to my house to actually visit and look at the fish. And then she talked to my wife and said, "Oh, okay, why don't you also be a real estate agent?" And then my wife eventually took up the course and so on. And eventually now she's a real estate agent. So yeah, my wife before that, I have to say that before that, she was an internal auditor for big firm in Singapore and Malaysia, listed company. One of them is a cold storage that have 23 billion turnover or 23 billion revenue US dollar per year. So that was that was her background. But then when she came to Australia, she can't find a job and so on because Geelong, you know, Geelong is small, right? It's not easy. And now she's working. Now she's working with one of the agencies in Geelong, and I think she gained more confidence with that, with a career, and is happy. So yeah, so that's just part of the sharing, and I hope the audience, you guys, will enjoy the pictures, the videos, and appreciate more about breeders or things like that of what I share, and also all breeders will work really hard, work their ass off to create the fish we have. I want to pay tribute to all the breeders around the world. Your contribution is amazing. I respect that, and I respect the breeders.
Absolutely. And I say the same. I have the greatest respect for the breeders.
Yeah,
They do a job bringing us beautiful fish. Absolutely.
Yeah, we for me personally, I appreciate them a lot.
Yeah.
So lastly, a bit of advertisement. If you guys like, you can visit my Facebook page under there. And I have a website. This website, I do it myself. Like, yeah, I just created myself. It's not very professional, but I think that's enough for me to showcase the pictures, the fish I have, the fish I saw, and have a little bit of intro and so on. So yeah, so I will open this for question. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask. Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of compliments on the presentation.
Thank you.
Brett McKenzie lives close to you and can't wait to have some of your fish.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Matthew Andros says awesome.
Yeah, but I have to say that because I have a day job and this is just my part-time, and I'm a bit slow sometimes, a bit slow in responding messages and emails and things like that. And especially during this pandemic, I have to spend a lot more time on my teaching and so on. So Yeah, and as well the kids cannot go to my elder one, she cannot go to the school. And then yeah, so all these things make me have less time and all this. Yeah, so I have to apologize for those who message me on my page and my personal PM that I'm always slow, and hope you guys understand. And yeah, that's it.
How do I purchase your fish? You cannot get Sui Yang's fish in the US. He orders from YCID, and I do not think we have a supplier for them, but it is possible that you could contact a transshipper.
Yeah.
And see if they can import from Malaysia.
Yeah.
He also imports Jackson. If you're interested in Jackson's fish, you can contact Jeffrey Moy and see if he's able to. That's Exotic Discus in Chicago.
And
so
for me, I
contact
find
the
that
transshippers.
yeah, for me, I find that these two guys are I'm not so sure, but to me, it's like a bonding. I can trust them a lot, and we chat, and also their facilities, I think is the best I have seen.
Right, and Winston is actually being imported to the US by Geelong Discus.
Yeah, Geelong Discus. That's why you see
He's in
monster.
Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
He has some beautiful discus too. So any of those ways you can try to get an order in for KL Discus, and that's Jackson, and YCID and Winston were the three that he imports from.
Yeah. Yeah, that those are the guys that I work with. Yeah. After a lot of tour, a lot of farm visit and so on, eventually I stick with these two. The most frequent, I would say. I still buy from others, but maybe not so consistent. I still continue the relationship with many breeders.
Right.
Some of them I do not review over here. And yeah, but these two are the one I can officially say, you know. Yeah.
The URL for the website is actually up on the screen right now. Look toward the bottom of the question and discussions. It shows the website on there. Okay, Sui Yang, do you want to show us some of your fish?
Yeah, I can, but I have to say that this camera, until now, I'm still not satisfied with the performance of my webcam. And please factor that in when you see the fish, because just now in the morning I have a trial, and then when I see them, they are not good. You know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I like things to be good, but I'm still not satisfied with the performance of my webcam. So now what I will do is like I will just bring my computer and the webcam around, and hopefully you can factor that in when you see
that one looked good yesterday. So from the web,
it's still, when I look at that, I say, oh no, good. I will switch on the light of my camera.
Right. When you did it yesterday, it looked good to me.
Yep. Okay. I will try again, and then I will switch this camera into my webcam. I will unplug. Now I'm unplugged, and I will stop the video and switch this to the webcam. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Let me set the thing up. You can still hear me, right, Tammy?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Good. I'm setting up the webcam. Oh, you have similar fish. It's a scorpion, isn't it? Huh?
He's
Is that
one of my
scorpion?
favorites.
Yeah.
He probably is my favorite.
Okay. How big is that?
He is probably 8-ish inches, maybe 8.5.
Yep. I will switch this one to logic capture. Can you see anything?
Not yet.
Okay, hang on.
Did you turn your camera off?
Hang on. Now I'm switching the camera.
I'll put mine back on.
or maybe this one is not working well. Hang on. Stream.
There we go.
Yeah, but it's a bit, it's not very, is that clear?
Yes. For joining us today.
Some of them. You can see that this is exactly the same size with YCID VIP room. And then this is my display tank.
You guys look at that color. Look at that color in that tank. That is absolutely amazing. Absolutely beautiful tank.
I'll go slightly close up a little bit.
And
this is a white tiger.
Yeah.
Even in a black tank, it is no pepper.
Beautiful. And the red melon type. Red.
Yeah, this is an albino red cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to the back. This is another one.
Albino red covers. I really, really want some of those.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful.
This is a white butterfly.
Pretty.
Some of the red panda.
Yeah.
I will go to the other tank. Hang on for a minute.
You're getting a lot of compliments on the tanks in the chat right now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is another, this is a 4 foot, 4 by 2.5 by 2.5. And these are the pandas.
Pretty.
And some albino. And this is a one that I feel interested in. The red ghost.
Yes, the red ghost.
Red ghost. Yeah. A red ghost. Yeah, and then this is where I put all my monster. These fish are about 20 centimeter in size.
Yeah, they're monsters. Look at that. Wow.
In real, they should be better in real, you know, like I'm not satisfied with the performance of the webcam. This is a red wow. Let's move from the front. Some angel.
They're nosy, aren't they?
Yeah, this is a big fish.
They're all big fish. That's pretty.
The one at the back not really showing up. Yeah, I think I will have to do a photo to really showcase the real beauty of the fish, because a lot of color is not the same over here to the camera. This is supposed to be more red.
Right. I get the same thing when I'm taking pictures of my reds too. It's like it washes the red out and you see more of the gold.
Yeah, that's correct. So this is the batik.
Pretty.
Yeah. Even the saturation and the level of the camera of this webcam is not good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Look how round those fish are, y'all.
Yeah, it's quite nice. This is a tiger. Some ring leopard.
Yeah, nobody can say the Sui Yang that has ugly fish, because that would be a lie. Some of the most beautiful fish.
Yeah, this is the batik from Jackson.
Yes.
And this is a wild green cross.
I really like those greens.
This is ring leopard. Yeah, this is a big one. You cannot see the scale now.
I can
On
see the
two-
scale, So Yang, I can see the scale on these fish.
This tank is like 2.4, 2.5 high, 4 by 2.5 by 2.5.
Yeah, those are massive fish.
Yeah, it's like yeah. And in fact, when I import, the officer was actually shocked to see the size of this fish. He made a few comments about the fish. Yeah.
Would have made more than a few comments about the fish for sure.
Yeah, this is some of them. Yeah.
Carrie wants to know what kind of filter system you're running on the tanks.
Wet and dry filter.
Wet and dry.
Is that blur still or?
It is a little bit on the, it's better now.
Okay. Some red fish. Some of the albino.
Those are pretty. Wow.
And the filter I run wet and dry filter. This is the dry part and the wet part. Yeah, let me go to the, maybe this one will show better. Let me open up. Can you see the filter?
Yep.
Yeah, on the top is a dry part. Let me put my computer down so that I can explain a little bit. So let me try. So over here, this one is the dry part.
Right.
And then they come down. This is a wet part.
Okay, I see you got ceramic in there.
Yeah, I use matrix.
Okay.
Yeah, I use matrix. It's a bit dark, there's lack of light over here. So yeah, wet and dry. And then after that, I go through the return sub pump and the heater in there and return back. Yeah, it's very simple setup.
And it works well.
Yeah, it works well. Wet and dry
It's
is the key.
immaculate.
Yeah, I like wet and dry. So this over here, there's a for my dry part. There's you can see there's a drawer. I can bring out and change the. I can change the what is that called? Yeah, this is the dry
the
part. In all this bucket, in all this drawer, there are media in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And some of them I have UV filter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Part of it.
A fairly simple setup. It'll
Yeah.
work.
So I will switch this back.
Carrie says he loves you, man.
Sorry. Thank you. Hang on. Let me switch the thing back and bring the thing up. Yeah. So that is my my setup, and I'm proudly say that I operate from home. This is a home business.
Right.
To me, nothing wrong with home business, and because we can look after the fish 24/7.
Yes. That is
And we can care for them, do a lot of water change, and so on. Let me close the door. Yeah. So for me, I'm proud to say that I'm running this as a hobby, and it's a home business. And we care for the fish. We can do frequent water change. We can feed them almost constantly.
Yeah.
And yeah, anything happen, anything wrong, we just treat accordingly. I will show you my dining table, just to let you guys see. So
This is where I dine. Oh, it's terrible. This is where I dine, my dining table. You can see the fish room is right there.
Yeah.
This is the fish room. If you walk, and this is a fish room. So I basically just look at the fish when I have my breakfast, have my dinner, have my lunch, everything.
That is awesome.
Yeah, there are many people that came to my house before. They know my setup. They know how the thing looks like and so on. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Francis wants to know if you run UV lights. I know you mentioned it when you were doing the thing.
Yeah, I do run UV for certain tanks. Some of the tanks I do run UV. Some of them I do not run. I don't have UV. Like the white tank, I don't have UV. Like partly because I haven't put one. I think UV has their purpose.
Yeah.
And water look a lot clearer, is more beautiful, nicer, more transparent, and I think it's good. UV is good. I do run UV in some of my tanks.
All right, guys, you got any questions for me or Sui Yang tonight? I don't see any popping up now.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys my next live stream is going to be another very interesting live stream. And I'm not 100% sure it's going to be the next one, but I've got something pretty big coming up, which this one was a big one for me. I was very excited to do this one and be able to hear about how things are done in Australia and how things are done in Malaysia. For me, that was a big thing. I'm really interested in the history of our fish.
You and Carrie should make a trip, man.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. That would be so amazing.
Yes.
But I think that the history of this fish is so very important to the hobby, and we don't need to see it get lost. And through people like Sui Yang and others, we have that history in photos and videos and that sort of thing. So I think that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And also, I haven't posted for some time because I'm quite busy with the work.
I kept bugging you until you would come on Discus Talk.
Yeah, and yeah. Yeah, I think I will start to take some more pictures and share. Has been busy lately.
Right.
And, yeah, and also another thing is I bought a new camera, and I haven't get my flash. I just show you. This is a very nice camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a Fujifilm.
Yeah.
It's a medium format.
That's an awesome camera.
Yeah, I love it. I actually try it on my kids, and you can see the skin tone, the continuity of the skin tone is so nice. It's so smooth and
Right.
so natural. It's very natural. And why I cannot take fish picture with this camera is because I haven't received my flash. Camera house is actually still on.
I can't wait to see pictures with it. Make sure when you post the pictures that you let me know it's with that camera. So
yeah, that's it. Okay.
Because I'll probably already see the difference, but definitely need to see that.
Yeah. I used to have, this is my old camera. This has been with me, a Canon 5D. 5D. It has been with me for 7 years.
Right. You want to see my camera? I got a special camera. This is my camera.
Ah.
I've had it for about a year now.
You can see a lot of my posts
Right.
from camera video and
Right.
picture. But then we are perfectionists. Like for me, if I do one thing, I want to do it good and do it well. When you see the fish is actually so beautiful, so colorful. And when I use my phone photo for them, in fact, I still do a lot, like the recent posts and so on phone camera videos and so on. I feel that this is undersell the fish. It's like you don't do the fish justice.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind too, I'm just a hobbyist.
Yeah, that's right. Me too.
You
I'm
know,
just also a hobby.
And
I tell you what,
I'm
that
a
Roger.
researcher. I mean,
that
everybody knows
Roger-
I'm a researcher,
Oh,
but
yeah, that's right.
I'm not an importer. I'm not trying to sell, you know, which I wouldn't mind selling some of the babies.
Mm.
I'm not out pushing my fish for sale, so I don't have to have the perfect pictures and that sort of thing. I do want them to look decent, you know, which I don't think might look bad in the pictures and stuff.
I think the best thing is to ask them to come and see in person. When they view in person, they will fully appreciate what they are in real life.
I'm gonna let you answer a question from the group. What filters do you recommend using, sponge or K-series type medium?
Should be media. For me, I use
will.
metric.
I mean, we use sponge filters in the fish room, but we have canisters on some of the more important tanks, the fry tanks that are growing out. I think one of the breeder tanks has a canister on it. We have a sump 150 grow out, and we have 2 canisters on the other 150 with the adults. So
Yeah, I think adult is important, right? Because adult they do a lot of waste.
yeah.
Yeah. And for those tanks that are using the sponge filter, I think they are all rely on more frequent water change.
Right.
Yeah, maybe twice a day or
Tanks,
something.
the fry tanks, the ones that get a lot more water changes have the sponge filters in them.
Yeah.
But we also have the canisters in some of those too. The 150 grow out is sitting on a sump, but it's also got another canister filter on it and sponge filters in it.
Yeah, and I think some is important. Any way you can increase the dissolved oxygen in the water is super important. I find that even though I have some and so on, I still put air stone in there. You can, yeah. Another good thing about putting air stone is you break the surface tension. Actually have less pressure onto your fish, and your fish will actually grow better.
Right. Well, my entire deworming process, it's in another video. It's the quarantine procedure video has the entire deworming process in it.
You want to see my metro?
Yeah, let me see your metro. Everybody's already seen my metro. And keep in mind, guys, that Australia has difficulty getting their hands on medication. They are so regulated over there that it's hard to get anything.
1 kilo of metro.
Oh wow!
We have to have prescription to purchase all this medication.
Mine's in the fish room. Actually, I don't even have mine in here right now. It's out in the fish room. I've got a bottle about that tall. I've got a decent amount of metro, and I don't even really need it. So, recommend using plants with discus and fry. I do not like planted tanks with fry. That is my opinion. I think that you really need to wipe the tank down. If you have gravel in there, you have plants in there, you cannot wipe all of the surfaces. And I really think that that's important to do with fry. I do have pothos roots growing in my 150 grow out, and it's also in the sump for that one. Then that helps keep the nitrates down. Let's see. What do you think about it? Give your opinion.
I do not have plants. All my tanks is either hardscape or bare bottom and nothing in there.
Guys, I keep having to pick my phone up because I don't have my glasses on and I can't read this real good. Karen Mayo. You know Karen Mayo?
Oh, yeah, she's an artist.
Yeah, she says, Lens, keep up the great work. Love your work. Best quality fish. Karen from St. Leonard's.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she she's a very great artist. She came to my house. She purchased some fish from me. And I think now her fish is actually breeding for her.
Okay.
Yeah. You can sense when you talk to an artist and the way she behaved, soft, gentle, and so on. And also the way her eye, her appreciation of beauty, her view of art. I think she thinks discus as art. She treats it as art. And also the way she decorates her tanks, the 1/3 ratio things, where to place your driftwood, you know, your fish, the color. When she came, she was like so particular about colors.
Right.
You know, like for me, I'm an engineer, right? And the way engineer look at things is totally different from artist. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's the same one with me. You know, I would much rather see a sterile, aesthetic tank with healthy fish than to see this planted tank with fish that don't look quite as vibrant as it should. You know, but that's just me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it. I think they're very pretty, but I don't want one. I don't think they're necessarily healthy for the fish. I know that the plants remove the nitrates and all of that, but they produce so many pockets where stuff can get stuck and they can get nasty underneath. And I don't know. I could do without that. I think they're pretty though. I really, absolutely.
You like natural more, right?
Yeah. And outside in nature rather than in my tank.
Yeah.
You ask if he uses only Metro to deworm, or you want me to tell him, or do you want to tell him?
Yeah, I can tell, like usually when we import quarantine, for me to sell the new fish, usually I will run through a full 10 days dose of Metro, and then let the fish rest for a few days, and then I will start Prazi and Levamiso. These are the 3 simple deworming that I've done before I sell my fish.
Okay, I want to clarify on the Metro. The Metro is not actually for worms. It's actually for flagellates and protozoa.
Yeah.
Praziquantel and the Levamisol are the dewormers.
Yeah.
What is the best way to seed a canister filter?
The media, put your media into the existing one. Or what does that mean? Is that try to cycle the tank? Is it meaning?
Yeah, I think he's talking about cycling the tank.
Yeah, cycling the tank, the best thing is to do a fishless cycle. Wait, I will show you something. This is what we do.
Yeah, ammonium chloride.
Ammonium chloride. You actually cycle your tank with ammonium chloride with a bit of baking soda, because when the cycle kicks in, your pH will drop because the bacteria will start growing and consume all the KH of your water. So you need to add a little bit of bicarb soda. And then on top of that, you add a little bit of pellets, because you want to make sure the water, there's some protein actually in the water. So, and then after you add, for a big tank, you just need a pinch. Over here, I have 500 grams here. But I bought 1 kilo. This is the old box. So 1 kilo, so every time when I finish a tank, I try to bleach them and then redo the cycle. It depends. If the fish, I think that tank is not good, I will do that. And some of them, sometimes I get lazy. I didn't do that. And yeah. So for me, because I do cycle, not new tanks, but my existing tank that is bleach. So I use a lot of ammonium chloride. I find that this is the best way, because you do not want to use fish to cycle your tank. You use fish, you never know what happened to the live fish. They might have worm, they might have parasite. You just introduce them into your tank. This is the best to me, the most scientific way to cycle your tank.
Okay, I've got several questions that are aimed at you. What is the best food for growth and color?
Oh, best food is a beef heart. For me, I still do beef heart. You look at the breeders. Beef heart process is tedious. It's terrible. I hate to process beef heart. But still, that grow your fish the fastest. And in terms of color, I sort of like Hikari. Hikari, let me show you. I forget the name.
So you guys caught us unawares. We don't have everything.
Yeah, this one. Hikari Vibra Bite.
Vibra bites. Yeah.
Yeah, this one, I tell you, I just mix a little bit. I first of all, I soak the pellets in water because for discus, discus actually live in Amazon, right? And they have dry season, they have wet season. When during the dry season, they have to make sure that whatever food they consume, they extract the most mineral out of that. They want to fully utilize the whatever they consume during the dry season. So they have a long intestine and small. So if you don't soak your pellets, and if your pellets actually swell in the intestine, they can cause bloat. And many times I find that bloat is also another difficult issue.
Right.
So I soak all my pellets before I mix with my beef heart, and I grind my beef heart really fine.
Right.
Yeah.
We also make beef heart. Roundtail Half Moon is looking for a recipe from you.
Yeah, I do publish my recipe. If you go to my website, under blog, I published that many years ago, and that is my recipe over there.
Right.
Yeah, if you go to my website, you will find that under near to the blog. In that blog, I only posted two. One of them is sharing what I was about to say about the Discus 101, and another one is my beef heart recipe.
Right.
And in fact, there are a few breeders around Melbourne, and they use my beef heart recipe. And there are some ladies in Brisbane or something, and then she actually made some comment on this on the Discus forum in Australia on Facebook. And then she tried it. She said that it's very good. Fish love that. Yeah. But having said that, when you feed beef heart, you have to make sure you do more water change. Do not skip. I am very, very religious about water change. Very, very religious.
I have been informed that you're going to lose 10 pounds running back to get stuff to show people.
Sorry?
They said you're going to lose 10 pounds running back and forth to get stuff to show them.
That's good. Yeah, I'm overweight. I'm too fat. Yeah, I'm trying to cut down a bit of weight. I have to reduce some weight.
A substitute for beef heart would be any heart would work. If you can't get beef heart, deer heart. I know somebody uses turkey heart. You can also just use a roast, any type of beef roast. You just want to cut the fat off of it and that sort of thing. But you can use any type of beef. But stay away from the livers and other organs because they tend to foul the water far more than beef does.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful about what tissue you're actually using for it.
Yep.
That was.
I'm lucky. I still get beef heart from my Coles supermarket.
I get it.
I'm considered lucky.
There's a slaughterhouse near me, and I go and get the beef hearts there. So.
But I hate the process. But I haven't discovered other turkey hearts or something like that. Yeah.
Right. If anybody's watching that's local to me, we are going to be making beef heart available very soon. So get in contact with me. That is only local. I will not be shipping. So that's not going to happen.
It's frozen, right?
Yeah, it's got to be frozen. And the shipping on beef heart is extremely expensive because it has to be kept frozen. And I'm not going there because there's too many places where you can get it. Other places, and Hans ships too. And I'm not going to compete with Hans. Any more questions, guys, before we sign off for the night? This has been a very long live stream, and that's a good thing.
How many hours we have been streaming?
We're almost 2.5 in now.
Okay.
But it's such good information. I mean, people.
Yeah, it's good to share, you know, you feel good. And when you
Right.
have interaction, when you can share with people, I think it's a good
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think even though you're importing in Australia, we're based in the U.S. There's people from India here. I saw one that said hello from India. By the way, hi back to India.
Hello.
And everybody else too. We really appreciate you guys coming in and watching with us. But even though he's an importer in Australia, the importers in the U.S. have to pay fees. They have to do all of that too. We have less stringent requirements here.
I see.
To do the quarantine, they have to. You said 12-day quarantine when they get in, or 10-day.
Over here, used to be 14 days. Now for discus is 7 days, and for goldfish is 21 days.
Okay, so you have to pay for somebody to quarantine the fish, correct?
No, we need to have a quarantine facilities, and then in there you quarantine the fish, and then the officer will come and inspect them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to pay those fees.
Yes.
All the different fees that they have to pay. We have fees in the U.S. that have to be paid on the fish that we import as well. All the shipping fees and that sort of thing. So when your importer brings them in, they have to charge this back to the customer. So, when you see fish that are, somebody's saying, oh, I want 250 for this fish, or I want 150 or 300, they're adding in their cost for shipping, their cost for customs, their cost for taxes, and all of that is added into it. It's not just, hey, I got this fish, I want to sell it to you. They're not breeders. I sit here and I can sell my fish all day long real cheap because I don't have to pay to import them. I don't have to pay customs. I don't have to pay taxes. So that makes a big difference in it. That's the reason that you see the not so nice fish. And that's a whole different story, but the not so nice fish are generally going to be cheaper. They're not imported, they're homebred, they're not raised in the correct environment. So they're not as nice as some of these that are coming in from these big breeders. There's a few of us, Carrie, myself, there's actually quite a few of us that are raising good quality discus, and we have them available from time to time. But when you see them and they're cheap, you don't know what you're getting. And when you see them and you're paying a little bit more, you're getting a nicer fish. And you pay a little bit more than that, and you're getting the best fish. And those are from the importers, really. You're getting, the show quality, the show grade fish. They're really nice fish. The A grades, the select grades. But you got to pay for them. You can't just, you're not going to get those real cheap. For goldfish, what quarantine process? Mr. Koo.
On what quarantine process?
For goldfish.
Goldfish, Goldfish, first of all, you import in. I think the quarantine process is still the same as discus. The only difference is they take more days. And also for goldfish import, there are certain medication you cannot use. Take for example, it is written in the import permit and regulation, like drugs like tetracycline, you cannot use for goldfish. You can use tetracycline for discus during quarantine. You can use PP for discus. You can use black water or something for discus. But there are certain medication you cannot use for discus. But I'm sure for goldfish, the only difference is a longer period of time, and also the medication that is different from discus. Yeah. And of course, the temperature is different. Goldfish live in a cold water, so you do not need to turn on your heater when you are quarantine goldfish. Yeah.
Okay, are freeze-dried blackworms better for long-term health than beef heart?
I didn't.
I don't think any studies have been done on that.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind, and I've seen this a lot of times on a lot of the groups. They say, well, discus don't eat beef heart in the wild. I've seen that so many times, and I think, well, my discus don't live in the wild. And I think wild discus don't live as long as my discus either. So there's a big difference between what's available in the wild and what's good, and what's available in tank and what's good.
I think mainly is because of the. I think mainly we take beef heart is because of the texture. You see the beef heart, the texture is quite soft and is very dense. The meat.
Yeah.
If you compare beef heart, you take beef heart out, you trim out the vein and so on, and then you compare with a normal beef meat. The texture is completely different.
Right.
I believe it is the protein level in the beef heart, the texture of the beef heart, and the calcium and mineral in the beef heart that actually make breeders use beef heart. Because we hate beef heart. It's like the procedure to trim out. Oh, I tell you, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. If we can choose not to use beef heart, we will. Anything that you can replace with the same growth, with the same thing, we will. All breeders.
My husband does mine. He does our beef heart. And when he gets the hearts cut up and everything, and I walk in and it looks like it's a bowl of sirloin tips waiting to be grilled. So, I mean, it does. It looks like sirloin tips sitting in the bowl. And I'm like, how it would taste if I put some seasoning on it and put it on the grill. I haven't done it though. That's just not even something that I could do, I think. But it's interesting to see it sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When using RO water, what is the best way to remineralize? I have no idea because I don't use RO with minerals or remineralize RO. Usually, a lot of people remineralize with the RO wastewater.
Yeah, with the tap water. That's what I do last time when I have my wild tanks. Since I have wild tanks until I have wild, what I do is like I mix with the tap water.
Right.
Because RO runs outside my house, it is cold. So what I do, I add the hot water back with tap water. Yeah, for me to do a water change or things like that.
What is your opinion on feeding hickory bloodworms?
I don't feed bloodworms. I don't feed any live food. Only.
Oh, he was talking about frozen.
Yeah. I don't feed frozen as well. For me, I only feed one food that's my beef heart. Because you know why? I do not want to say, I don't know how to describe, but for me, I only trust, I want to do the best for my fish.
Right.
I only trust what I put in. And just like this pellet is just additional, just a small portion just for the color or something.
Right.
This is a small portion. That's not the main ingredient. The main ingredient is beef heart, shrimp, scallops, fish, spinach, spirulina, and all these things that actually make up the main ingredient of my beef heart, as well as vitamins and so on.
Right. So Yang, can you pull up the last slide in your video presentation, please?
Yep. Hang on. Just let me switch that on. Hang on. Just give me a second. Just now I was relieved when I finished, and then I just closed it.
That's okay. I want to type in the web address for the website. So
hang on.
In the chat.
I'm sharing that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? No, I didn't. Dot. No, I did do that wrong. .com.au. Okay, let me make sure that's it. End message. All right, that should be the web address. And if you, I mean, you should be able to see it in the screen too. Yeah. Somebody had asked about it and I couldn't see it, but I wanted to go ahead and pin it in the chat so that it would be visible.
Yep.
Very well.
Good.
Okay, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up. If you've got any more questions, throw them in real quick. Because for somebody that gets up at 4:30 in the morning during the week, 8:30 at night, even on the weekend, starts making me get tired. Has something to do with age, I'm told.
Oh, I feel the age thing as well. I used to be able to work out all day night, like until 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Now I just can't do it anymore.
Well, you've seen the post, right? The who stayed up all night partying and then went to work in the morning. That was me. We didn't.
I'm actually studying. I'm actually doing my research and study until 2-3 a.m. Because I like mathematics. When I work with my stochastic differential equation,
right.
I stay up and study until 2-3 a.m. And then now I know more. I can't do it anymore.
Right. And see, I can't stay up late anymore. If I'm getting up early, I've got to go to bed early.
We have to accept that, we are human beings. We age, we get older. Just appreciate the journey. We have to just appreciate the journey and appreciate the family, the people around us, the good people around us. I hate the bad people. The good people around us, and so on. And in fact, in Discus, I met some terrible people. There
are, and it's a shame because I'm just here because I care about fish. I think amazing fish.
Yeah.
I want people to be successful with it. I don't want to see them struggling with sick fish. I don't want to see.
I think we all do. When I started, I tell you, I bought 2 new. Wow, you get sick, get the entire tank sick.
Yeah. Crown Tail wants to know, UV light, is it recommended for fry? I say yes, always.
Yeah.
For the UV light. It reduces bacteria load in the water, and anything that reduces bacteria in the water is good for your fry.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's a name I haven't seen. Briefly explain how to handle your shipments. How do you handle your shipments? How do you acclimate in your quarantine process since you import so many beautiful discus?
You speed and time. You have to be fast. We have a knife on our hand. Whenever you come in, just scrape all the bags, pour the water, and just put the fish in. After you import for a few times, you roughly know what is the water parameter. You want the fish to have minimum time in their wastewater. Their water is so bad, full of ammonia and all these things.
Yeah.
And what you need to adjust is the pH. You know that when they arrive, the pH is low. Make it 6.5 or something. And after that, reduce. The main thing is the level of the water. You make them half first. You do not fill the tank up at the beginning, or your quarantine tank half. Or you use a shallow tank. You can use a shallow tank. And then once they are here, just remove as fast as you can. Remove their wastewater, they are rubbish, they are smelly sometimes. Just put the fish in.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is what you do the best for the fish. There's no time for you to mix the water, no time for you to acclimate that way. And then after that, put some prime, or what is that called? We'll do some prime
into the water, into the quarantine tank to remove more ammonia that is possibly excreted by the fish. Yeah, that is the reality. That's the reality on what I do. People might comment or anything, but that's what I do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do plop and drop. We don't acclimate. We do find out what the person that they're coming from, what their pH is, and what their parameters are before we get them.
Yeah, because there's no time.
That would
And
be
also,
an issue.
yeah, and also you find that no time for acclimation.
When I bring in shipped fishes, and mine aren't shipped as long as yours probably are. I mean, we're looking at what, 12, 14, 16 hours. And they go straight into the tank.
Yeah.
The water
is more than 48 hours.
in the tank though.
Yeah, 48 hours. Because of the pandemic, from packing in the farm until we can release the fish and all these plus all the officer biosecurity checking on fish, 40 hours or more. It's very, very bad already. And also another thing, why you do not need to acclimate them. When they are in the bag, they are pure oxygen. The ammonia they create is maybe ammonium or something. I forget what is that.
Yeah, I think
once they get into the air, they turn out to be more harmful for the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we do wild discus, we have to acclimate them. And another fish that you need to acclimate is autumn angel. We do acclimate autumn angel when they first arrive, and then we use drip. We have a hose with a knob at the front. We adjust the knob and put half the drip in the water in the tank that you want to place them. We drip for about 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours, and then only you net the fish back into the tank. But once you open, put in the prime. Once you open the bag, prime, and then start a climate. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never done wild fish, so
because I find
fair to them to bring them here to the 8.5 pH that I'm running. So let's say, is pH, do you only match pH for the imports, or do you do it for the pet stores as well?
I don't do the pet store. I only because when the whole situation is like that. After you import, you put them in the quarantine tank. After a while, you do water change, right? You still do water change. And after a while, this water change, it is similar to tap water already. So after the quarantine procedure, let's say for discus, take for example discus. After 1 week, done quarantine, officer come inspect. If everything is good, they will release the fish. If not, you will be in trouble.
Right.
And, yeah. So once they release the fish, the fish is already used to the tap water already in the local area. So when you transfer the fish from quarantine to the store, just like that, I find discus is very good in that they don't feel when you first put them into the tank, but most of the time we don't think they are very stressed. But some certain fish, they might show a little bit of stress, but after a while they just turn out to be normal.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to know how you lower your pH. Are you using black water extract or almond leaf?
We do have black water extract. We don't use almond leaf. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the quarantine, Jeffrey, they have a lot of black water. They import from Taiwan. Yeah. So they have a lot of black water. So we use black water. Yeah. And sometimes, yeah. Most of the time we use black water.
Okay. I didn't know that. Most people here, I think, use RO. But RO doesn't even lower my pH. It doesn't even touch it.
RO will. I think RO will. And also the TDS is so low that because in the quarantine and the shop, we have RO for marine. Yeah.
Right. And it will for most people, but I think because of the contents of my water, my pH actually goes up to 9 after the RO. And then we age it back down to 8.5. It ages within 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
I can't lower it. Eventually I'm going to find out what exactly is in the water and what the reason for that is, but it is not possible for me to lower pH. I would have to do it chemically. And depending on what's in the water, it would come back up. So there's no point in me even messing with that.
Yeah.
When you dose with the prime, are you doing an overdose of prime, or what amount are you using in the bags?
You put in a needle, just drop a few drops.
Okay. What is your recommended water change schedule for a 660 liter?
Depends on the fish density. For me, if you can do daily, you do daily. If not, then I'm not sure about the fish density. If this is very scarce, maybe 2 or 3 days, you do a water change.
I think it depends on a lot of different factors. One of them being the age of the fish, because if they're fry, you're going to feed them a whole lot more than you feed an adult.
Yeah.
So if you're doing fry, you're going to do once a day. If you've got it overstock, you're going to do twice a day. If you're doing adults, you can get away with every third day, sometimes every other day, depending on what you're feeding, how often you're feeding. That's the way I look at it. I mean, we do the Stenker tank. I think we're doing it every other day, and they're big. So, let's see. And hi, Richie. I saw you come in. We are actually at the end of the stream. We have now been here for close to 3 hours. Damn, that's right. It too. It is almost 3 hours. But there's a lot of very informative information in here on this, and it will be on the YouTube channel.
They can rewatch the record, I think.
Yeah, it'll be on the YouTube channel. Could you use wastewater from the RO system on fry? Yes, you can. If you're wanting to know the percent of water changes, we do about 80% every other day or every day, depending on the size of the fry. I know, Su Yang, you haven't had fry for a while, have you? Or
No, I didn't breed for a long time. I only breed when I was a hobbyist. I breed wild cross. Yeah, that was long time ago.
Okay, how would you go about raising the TDS for discus who have been raised in RO?
Salt.
TDS isn't that important, but mineral content is. And if you're putting them into tap water, the tap water should be sufficient. And there's no acclimation process for that type of thing. The only acclimation would be if you're going from, say, a 6 pH to an 8.5 pH, you probably want to acclimate. But if you're at, say, a 7.2 pH going to an 8.5 pH, you just do plop and drop. I mean, I'm not sure exactly which way you were going with that, but I think I got that question answered, I hope. In Australia, we have fluoride in tank. Does this affect the fish? No, it doesn't. We have it here too. What are your thoughts on fluoride in the tank?
I have a charcoal filter at my main water supply. And 3 stages, whole house charcoal. In fact, 3 stages supposed to be 1 charcoal.
Yeah.
I changed all the cartridges to charcoal.
You do know that takes minerals out of the water, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that.
So yeah.
Oh, you know that.
A little bit of salt, a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see, I got a message from Francis Barreto. Let's see. Oh, he's watching on TV. He put us on his TV.
How can you? Oh, okay. That means he has what is that
I
called?
can do it with my phone.
Internet TV. Oh, okay.
I can do it with my phone. That's
Smart TV, isn't it? Smart TV. Yeah.
All right, guys, you got any more questions before we put an end to this? This has been so much fun. So Yang, we're gonna do this.
It's good. It's good to meet people and share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you get more video from over in Malaysia, we're gonna do this again and we'll share all the video that
Ah,
you with.
pandemic, when the COVID is finished, I tell you, every single shipment, I fly every single shipment.
Yeah.
And now I'm waiting for the flash for my camera. When I get a flash, the remote trigger, I
Yeah.
can shoot beautiful discus picture. And most of the
Awesome.
time, it is about light, the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I don't get an opportunity to do a whole lot of photography because I made everything in the fish room white.
Yep.
So everything in my fish room reflects the tanks.
Yeah. Then you have a more complicated setup to how to light your fish tank.
Right. It's hard to take pictures in there. Everything reflects. I see.
Reflection. Yeah, a lot of reflection.
So yeah, if you see a decent picture come out of my fish room, you know I've struggled.
Hmm.
with it. Could one use sediment filter with 2 carbon blocks for water treatment?
What is that?
And not for a filtration system. I wouldn't do that, but they're wanting to know if you could use a sediment filter and 2
Yes.
carbon blocks for water treatment.
Yeah. I think those people must be those who buy the 3 stages whole house filter.
Oh,
Yes,
he's talking
first
about the
one.
RO system. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the RO system.
I thought he was talking about for like a sump.
Oh, okay, maybe it's a
Gotta have biological.
biological filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually the first is a sediment, and then followed by I forget what is that, and then charcoal.
I told you I was sleepy.
What's the time there in US?
It is 9 o'clock almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I see what he's talking about. He's talking about for water changes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as you're not using the RO membrane, you shouldn't be taking all of the minerals out.
Hmm.
But it will take some of the minerals out still.
It will. It will.
Okay, it looks like that's probably going to wrap it up, guys. If you haven't already, we are trying to get the subscriber number up so that we can monetize the channel. We have a lot of things and thoughts in mind for what to do if we're able to monetize the channel. And the biggest one, and I know I talked to Sue Yang about this last week, if we can get the channel monetized, we are going to probably start donating that to fish research and using it for fish research to find answers to puzzles like the one that Sue Yang covered in his slides on the headstanding. We don't have answers for that.
Yeah, headstanding is always an issue.
That's one. Yeah, he gave us one possible answer. What's the case in that with that particular fish? But what if the fish is headstanding, but that's not the issue? We really kind of need to know what the issue is. We need to have, good night, Carrie. We need to have research done, and the research costs money. It's that simple. But if we had a way to get the money, we could do things like somebody has a fish that's headstanding. There's no cure for that. We could possibly get that fish sent to an institute for a necropsy and find out what's causing it. Or if a bacterial infection shows up and we don't know what that bacterial infection is, we don't know how to treat it, it's killing fish, we can send it off to a university and get a necropsy done and find out what it is. And Lord forbid, should the discus plague start up again.
That is a nightmare.
They had one fish that was necropsied in the University of Florida. It came back for virus, but that's not definitive. There's no way to know if that's just one fluke fish that had the herpes virus. We don't know for sure that that's what caused the discus plague. We don't know for sure what caused it. Lord forbid, should that come back, we would have the funds and the availability to find out. Right now, the only area of study for any type of fish is in the food industry. And that is your tilapias, your salmons, your tunas, the fish that you're eating. That is the only fish that they do research on, unless somebody pays for it. Yes, Francis, whirling disease. We do not know what causes whirling disease. It could be parasite, it could be bacterial, it could be brain defect, it could be any number of things. And we want to find out what it is. So if we can get the subscribers up, you guys share this around. We can start looking at maybe knocking out some of the questions, getting some answers to some of them. I've had a lot of support with Sue Yang, Carrie, Pat, and Sarah Bills and Roy Sarah, and the list goes on and on. Getting this YouTube channel started, getting information out on the groups. And I think we need to take it a step further from talking to Dr. Pountney, who is a fish researcher. He does research on reproductive. We can find out more about discus reproduction, egg numbers, getting your egg numbers up, your fertilization rates, and that sort of thing. There's so much that we still need to learn, but we really, really need some support. I have actually tried to reach out to Mr. Corey at Aquarium Co-op. I've also reached out to a couple of other places too. They tend to not respond. And I get that, because I may be the same way if I see, I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of have to be careful with interactions with other YouTubers. I'm not real big on the whole YouTube thing. I get really nervous doing these YouTubes. I'm not a personality. I'm not an entertainment source, if you will, like so many of the others are. They're so entertaining to watch. I'm informative, and I think that's probably more important. I have not seen Dan's fish, but I may try to reach out to them. I appreciate I appreciate your suggestions completely. And we're going to try to do that. If you guys come up with any ways that would help, or any ideas that would help, that would be great too. You can contact me through Facebook, through my email, discustalk@yahoo.com. And that's I really would like to get the YouTube channel going. I don't know what to say, Soo Yang.
Yeah.
But you guys make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, view the videos. That helps too. Because I've got to have 4,000 watch time hours. I've got to have 1,000 viewers. And then I've got to get sponsors, and the sponsors are easy. So that's the easy part. And so, Yang, it has been amazing sitting here and looking at the fish again today.
I will have to maintain them. I think next week or so I will start to ship them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to do it before you ship them out.
Yeah. Like we just finished 10 days of metro, and the next will be on worming. And for us, it's sometimes like we mix the drugs in the food,
Right.
feed them. Yeah.
How often do you feed the praziquantel? I haven't done a food.
Praziquantel and levomycin, usually I do only one time a week.
Right.
And then after that, I wait for a few days and then dose again.
Okay.
Yeah.
As
And
food
for
because
some
of
reason,
the,
I find that in the food is like very effective. Yeah. And because I do observe their poop under the scope, the microscope.
right.
And you will be able to tell whether they still have worms or something or clear. Sometimes it does not mean that white poop means you have worms or hexameta. You have to really look under the scope. There are certain times when the fish are starved for a long time from the breeders. When they come, they excrete white poo. When you look
Right.
under the scope, there's nothing. That's clean. So not often white poo means worm or
No.
X. Yeah.
They can just be stressed. I mean, they can get essentially diarrhea like we get diarrhea.
Yeah. It is a diarrhea.
We don't deworm ourselves every time we get runny poo.
Yeah.
And they don't need it either. And many, many times I'll pull poop. I've had people send me poop that I really tell them to medicate the fish because they'd already medicated the fish.
Yeah.
And they still had white poop. I would have them send me samples so I could see if I could find anything.
Yeah.
They're telling me the fish isn't eating. It's just pooping this white stuff. And
it could be stress sometimes.
Yeah, and I get the poop and there's food in it. And I'm thinking, well, the fish is eating. Well, I don't see it eat. Fish eats when you leave the room. And that happens a lot. That the fish are not eating and you leave the room. I have cameras in my fish room. I can assure you, 9 times out of 10, if I've got a fish that isn't eating, I put food in and leave the room, turn that camera on, and they go straight to eating. And people just aren't seeing it, and they're treating the fish for no reason. And that's not the best thing to do. Francis wants to know if you add the praziquantel to the frozen beef heart, to the thawed frozen beef heart.
It is like, I'm not sure whether I do it right or wrong, but then when I do my beef heart, I put a certain portion away to add the drugs in. So far, I find that it's good. I do that at 2 ppm, and I find that it's good and efficient because I don't. It is like every time I have new shipment, I do this procedure. For my old fish or existing fish, I don't really do too much of the worming. Everything is inspected under the scope, and it has been a long time that I don't really see white poo for the existing fish, and yeah. So I just when I grind my beef heart, I make a small percentage of food with medicated food and put in the freezer. Yeah.
I did read in one of the veterinarian books, the recommended thing for metronidazole, I think, was like 3 days for flatulates. It said that one time feeding metronidazole was more effective or just as effective as the 3-day treatment in water.
Yeah.
So that's
very strange. Like you find it very effective, and also the worm seems not to come back for a long time.
Right.
Because last time when that was many years ago when I haven't do this kind of mixing in food, I do that in the water and so on. Sometimes you still see some roundworms under your scope. And then later
Right.
on, after I do this mixing with food and so on, you very rarely, for some reason, it is it's like
Well,
so
the levamisole treatment is a 3-time treatment. As you treat day 1, you treat again on day 5 and again on day 13.
Yeah, because that paralyze the worms.
Well, it kills them. It kills them.
Mm.
I asked the veterinarian in Florida about that because I'm sitting there thinking, you know, it paralyzes them, but it doesn't kill them.
Mm.
I asked her about that, and she says, when you're paralyzed, can you breathe?
Mm. Oh, okay.
And I was like, well,
Okay.
no, not really. I mean, so it made sense. I mean, they don't have a spinal cord. It's not like it breaks their spinal cord and they can still breathe. It completely paralyzes their entire body. So they're
That's good. That's good.
so,
Yeah.
when you deworm, how often do you need to redose? They're
This
asking,
photo. Like for me, it's like you do once, and then after a few days you repeat. And it depends on what you are treating. Like for my customers, most of my customers, I recommend, like, if you do prazi them, stay in the water for 3 days, and then repeat. Let them in clean water. Water change after 3 days. Let them in clean water for 4 days, and then redose for 3 days again.
Francis, I'm not sure who you're asking, but he's asking, have you tried the oral treatment on discus? I haven't. I don't like using oral medications on discus.
For me, I mix with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, and that's because of the dosage. I'm very scientific. Everything has to be by the book.
Precise.
Not everybody is the same way, but for me, it says that discus dosage is by the weight of the discus.
Mm.
And if I need to treat a tank with 10 discus in it, I'm not pulling out 10 discus and weighing them and then sitting there and watching and making sure that particular discus gets that particular dosage and that one gets that particular. But you can't have any more of that because you've already had your dose. So you go over that. That's not working.
Mm.
So I prefer the water.
In the water.
It's longer than the oral dosage, but it is, for me, safer.
Mm.
What if one fish runs everybody else off and eats all of the medicine? That's not good either. So I prefer to do the water treatment rather than the food treatment. That happening is neither one of those scenarios is going to happen, but I'm just very particular. That the same way you are with the cameras and stuff. I mean, we all have our picadillos, and that's fine. The medication has to be done for my fish, has to be done in the correct manner.
Like most of the time for the client, you always advise them to do the water one.
Yeah.
Like, for most of my clients, for the like prazi and Evermycin, like prazi is like 3 days and then water change,
Right.
and then leave it 4 days and then repeat.
Right. For the levamisole,
Evermycin is like 24 hours or 48
it's
hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, you siphon the tank and then repeat. I usually recommend them to let them rest for 3 days and then repeat.
You know what my recommendation is for the levamisole is to do the 24-hour treatment with the tank completely blacked out.
Blacked out?
Completely blacked out. It's light sensitive. So you have to black it out. And it doesn't have to be blacked out. It has to be dark. I am very particular. So I tell them to wrap it with newspaper, keep it black 24 hours.
I don't do that.
No, put water in a bucket, take the fish and put the fish in a bucket, empty the tank, clean everything in it, replace sponges, replace your media, fill it back up, put your fish, not the water, just the fish back in the tank. Do daily water changes 50%, adding prime and salt. And then, re-adding both of them daily to keep the ammonia and the nitrite from hurting the fish.
Yeah.
Because the eggs stick to everything.
Mm.
Eggs from the roundworm stick to everything. They are sticky and they're on the back of your leaves for your plants. They're on your wood. They're on your glass. They're on everything.
Mm.
So, we eradicated it here. I mean, we haven't seen it for the last shipment I ordered that had roundworm came in 3 years ago, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me too.
Since
Long
then.
time.
So I don't deworm. We don't deworm anymore. I do check poop periodically to make sure that we don't have roundworms. Nothing.
That's it. This is why you see, Tammy, when you are good already, when you know what you are doing, keeping
Mhm.
discus is easy. Water change and feeding. Done.
They want the feedings more often than the water changes. They want the feedings, every time you look at them, they want food.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. So I think when at the beginning, depends on the source you buy and so on, you might, having problem. But after you become better, keeping discus is easy. Just water change, food, done.
Somebody's wanting to know, when using UV lights on fry, when should you stop using it at what size?
I got no idea. You can advise that. Yeah, you can advise that.
I don't ever stop using the UV light. The UV light stays on all my tanks. Any tank that has a canister has a UV light on it.
Hmm. For me, I just UV. My white tank don't have the UV, but the rest they have UV. Yeah, but I don't have fry. I don't bring. Yeah, so I can't advise on those things.
I mean, my new fry tanks, when I first remove them from the parents, they get a sterile tank, they get daily water changes, they get the whole 9 yards. They don't have a UV light. So we clean the tank, we wipe all the surfaces, we clean it really good every single time. When they get into more of the grow out tanks, the bigger tanks, we have the UV lights on. And from there, even my Steinecker tank with my adults, my 150 with my adults, they all have UV lights. So there's not really, the only reason we don't do it with the small fries because we don't use a canister. We just use sponge filters for them because they're getting a lot of water changes. Okay, the next question is, what are the recommended drugs to use during quarantine? And how long does it have to be done? Sharon, I actually covered that during my quarantine procedure live stream. But I will tell you that we use praziquantel, metronidazole, and levamisole are the 3 medications that we use for quarantine. And I think that Sui Young said those are the same ones that he uses too. The 3.
Those are the basic.
Those are the basics. Those are you got to keep on hand. Are there any new discus books from Asia?
Sorry, new discus what?
New discus books.
I got no idea. Like I know Martin Ng is writing his book, but I'm not so sure when is him going to publish those.
Okay.
Yeah. But you see now, I have a book at the side of my table. This is, in fact, I told all my clients and friends and things like that. This is the only book I trust. Even books, they are good books, they are bad books.
Right.
I trust this book.
I don't have that one.
It is professionally written with pictures, microscope, everything, experiment done, and so on. So I like this book. It is really a good
Send
book.
me the author of that one. I can't read it.
Yeah. It is a Dieter.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I will send you the author.
I can't say his name, but it's I know who that is.
Yeah. I love this book, and I recommend to my clients when they ask where to refer to and so on. I always recommend this book.
All right, Sharon. I'm going to tell you this, and Sui Yang will tell you this. It does not matter where you are getting your fish from, how reliable the farm is. They still need a quarantine procedure with a treatment schedule. Because even discus farms, no matter how reliable they are or how good they are, can still have things that they don't know they have. It's always better to go ahead and treat and be done with it than to have to deal with it later when they're really sick.
Yeah, to play safe.
Francis said he got the Asian Discus book, volume 2. Thank you, Francis. He sent me the name of that book.
Oh, okay. Oh, he sent you the name of the book I mentioned? Oh, that's good.
He has probably shown me that book. I've seen so many different books. It's just hard to come by. There's not a whole lot of them out there for me to buy.
Yeah.
So I get an idea of which ones to get.
Yeah, I went to the library and borrow a few books actually to read through. And I find that this is the best. This one, I'm not sure. It's just like you convinced with this book.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm convinced of what the author said. And yeah. And it's reliable.
I have Andrew So's books, and I've got Jack Watley's book, and I've got the Trophy Discus because I like looking at pretty fish. What is your feeding schedule for fry versus juveniles and adults and foods you recommend besides fiber bites and beef heart? Do you feed only live brine shrimp to fry? And that question was posed to you.
Okay. I don't have fries now, but when many years ago when I'm still breeding, I do feed them brine shrimp, baby brine shrimp when they are young. And then once they can eat, they convert straight to my beef heart mix. And yeah, and in my whole life keeping, in my whole journey of keeping discus, I very, very rarely feed them live food apart from the brine shrimp babies when I was doing the breeding. And yeah. So that could be personal, just personal thing, because I just don't. I only trust what I put in. Yeah.
You have a visitor.
Yeah. My wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you feed any other live foods to any of the juveniles or anything? I don't. Other than baby brine shrimp. So Yang, have you fed any other live foods to the fry?
No. Apart from the brine shrimp, I don't. I always scared. You know, I don't know what to say. I'm always scared. You know, we want to make sure our fish are in the best condition, the best we can give them.
Yeah.
You know,
taking chances on live food.
I don't take any chance. I can't risk it. Yeah.
How often daily would you feed fry?
How often? 7 times a day. I still remember that's like full-time job, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you what we do. If we go to the fish room and those babies don't have bellies on them, they get bellies on them until they have little fat bellies.
Yeah.
And then if we come back 15 minutes later and they don't have fat bellies again, we give them more food. So it's whenever they don't have bellies, we give them food. And it's the same for juveniles or fry for us. Do you feed your juveniles as much as you would feed your fry? Say you're 2.5, 3.5. I do.
Yeah.
I just want them to have big bellies.
I want them to grow fit, grow big.
Mm-hmm. Any more? Most of these questions are coming from the same person, so.
Oh, okay.
But they're good questions, so. We'll see if he's going to come up with any more. How many brine shrimp hatcheries do you keep going? I'm not sure if Crown Tail realizes Sui Yang is an importer. He doesn't breed or anything. So
Yeah.
I know most of your questions on the fry and juveniles and stuff have been pointed toward him. We have as many brine shrimp hatcheries as we need because we use a 2-liter bottle. So how many we have going at any time depends on how many fish we have growing. And right now I've got guppies that are trying to have babies. So I've got one, usually got one going. Oh, I see what you're saying. When they're on the parents, you're not feeding as much. She's asking how to keep feeding 7 times a day. When they're on the parents, they're not eating that much. And by the time you move them from the parents, they're not eating baby brine shrimp anymore. Or you may still give it to them, but they're what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks old before you're moving them. So by then they should already be on flakes and granules, the really small fry granules. They should be eating full brine shrimp. I've got a batch out here right now that's 3.5 weeks old. They're eating brine shrimp, frozen brine shrimp. They eat beef heart. If you put it in for the parents, the babies are eating that too. So by the time you move them, you're not feeding them 7 times a day, baby brine shrimp. I don't know if that made sense. I hope it did. But honestly, depending on how many fry you've got, one of my 2 liters of, I'm using 2-liter bottles. One of them would work for 7 days, 7 times a day feeding for all of them, probably. I see what you're saying. He was wanting to learn from your past experiences. So how would you feed baby brine shrimp 7 times a day? How many brine shrimp hatcheries would you have going?
When they are near to the mom and dad, I use siren and just put the baby brine shrimp closer, and you see the baby just come out and eat.
Yeah.
And then they will pick out something on the floor as well. And then after they finish that, they will just go back to the parents.
Right. He's wanting to know how many hatcheries would you have running?
Oh, that time I'm running 2 only.
Yeah,
but my wife also do most of because I have to work that time. I feed in the morning, and then the rest my wife until I come back from work. And that's very cute. You see the babies, they have yellow eggs, yellow thing in their tummy when they are full, when they eat brine shrimp. Oh, so cute.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. When feeding 7 times a day, what do you recommend feeding earlier?
That time I feed only baby brine shrimp. When they can eat on baby brine shrimp, usually it's like about a week or something, they can already starting to pick on the baby brine shrimp. And then you just feed them baby brine shrimp until they start, because you not only feeding the babies, you also feed the mom, right? You can tell after a certain time when they can pick on your the mom's beef heart. And for the parent beef heart, I always dry them with the food processor. That means it's really like a paste. It's not the meat grinder, right? I use a food processor to mix the beef heart. That is so fine. The mom will eat that, and when you spot that the babies start to come and share the food with the parents, you knew that it is about time they can get converted to your beef heart. And then I just slowly, do 2 at the same time, and then convert slowly back to the beef heart. And then from there, it will carry onwards with the beef heart.
Okay, Crown Tail. I did not understand that. I apologize. He's wanting to know, do you start earlier in the day? What time do you start feeding in the mornings?
So
he's wanting to know what time you start feeding in the morning.
7. When I wake up, when you have babies, that's the first thing you do.
Yep.
Even until now, the first thing in the morning is not looking at my kids. I went to our fish tank and look. Oh, I have 2 kids, but the first thing you wake up is like check the. First of all, I have to check the temperature because sometimes the thing I scared is a heater failure. So I have a gun, a temperature gun. I go and check and then observe your fish, look everything, is that good or so on, check the filter, then you start feeding. That
Right.
is the first thing you do in the morning. Depends on how early you wake up and when the lights is on.
Yeah.
You are attached to your fish.
Yeah, you do get attached, definitely. I've had several losses that really were not good. I had one that jumped out of the tank. I cried and cried.
Yeah.
So attached to these fish.
We all have feeling for our fish, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I'm betting that he wants to go eat some lunch and I want to go eat a late dinner.
Me too. I have to take lunch and breakfast. Because
Oh,
I want
yeah,
to
you
slim
guys
down a
are
little
short
bit.
breakfast.
Yeah, I want to slim down a little bit, so I didn't eat my breakfast yet. I said I break longer so that not generating so much glucose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I can slim down a little bit, cut some fat on my tummy.
Yeah. And awesome fun.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like button, and definitely share the page. Let people know we're here. And we'll see you guys on that next stream. And it's going to be really nice unveiling. We'll see you guys.